You're watching the ACC on ESPN. From Heinz Field in Pittsburgh, it'll be a busy weekend here. The Pittsburgh Steelers host the Oakland Raiders here tomorrow. But first, an important college football game. Notre Dame, number 5, trying to get into the top 4 and get in the college football playoff in a must-win situation today. C.J. Sanders downs the kickoff from Pitt's Chris Blewett. Notre Dame won the toss and elected to receive. Get on offense first, led by the redshirt freshman quarterback, Deshaun Kaiser. Solid 6'4", 230 from Toledo, Ohio. Took over the middle of game 2 at Virginia when Malik Zaire suffered a fractured ankle. 5-1 as the starter, and a terrific performance in the win at Temple last Saturday night in Philadelphia. He ran for 143 yards in that game and threw for 299.
Yeah, and I expect them to throw deep early, Sean. They like the matchup of their skilled wide receivers against the defensive backs and corners of Pitt.
4 receivers spread the formation on first down from the 25-yard line. A toss to C.J. Procise and a big gainer on first down. And nothing new from Procise as he's to the 45-yard line. A gain of 20 on the first play from scrimmage, and Rory Blair made the tackle.
Now, Rory Blair was late. When you have a press corner and you're the end man on the line of scrimmage, you have to have contained, and that means turn the ball back inside. It's a mental error off the get-go for the Pitt Panthers on defense.
They marked it at the 44. The gain of 19 for Procise. His 45th play of this season of 10 yards or more. And another big gainer. He gets 9 on first down. Juan Price threw him down. With 45 plays of 10 yards or more, either on the ground or receiving, he's 3rd in the country. Only the terrific TCU wide receiver Josh Dodson and Royce Freeman, the running back from Oregon, have had more plays of 10 yards plus than Procise so far this year. A fake to Procise. Kaiser, a great job to get away from the traffic, and a wide open Will Fuller for a touchdown. A 47-yard touchdown strike to Fuller, his 10th touchdown reception. And that was easy against Pat Narduzzi's defense. Just 3 plays for the Irish to go 75 yards. Pat told us yesterday that's been a problem lately, slow starts, and you can't have much worse start than this one. Justin Yoon, the freshman, adds the extra point.
Well, we talked about this, Sean. They were going to go deep and attack deep because they felt like they had to match up on their skill against the back 4 of Pitt. You're going to get Parrish in a one-on-one situation right here, and Fuller's just going to take it on a little out and up. And watch the safety. Watch his feet settle. He does not get out of his back pedal. And when you have a full-speed Fuller coming at you, you can't be stationary or in your back pedal, or he'll run right by you.
And we thought all along this week, preparing for the game, that speed is the big difference. Notre Dame so much more speed than Pitt. Pitt has got to be smarter with their matchups. They can't allow a safety being matched up against Fuller, who's one of the most explosive wide receivers in college football.
The only way you can get away with that is if you jam him or disrupt his timing to line of scrimmage. I mean, he's running about a 4.3 right at your throat. You can't be stationary with your feet, or you have no shot at covering, especially when a corner's up playing close to the line of scrimmage.
26th career touchdown reception for Will Fuller, a junior from Philadelphia. Had a happy homecoming against Temple last week. Caught the game-winning touchdown pass with just more than 2 minutes to go. The kickoff from Tyler Newsome goes out of bounds, short of the pylon.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball 35-yard line. First down.
Jeff Flanagan is the referee today. Here comes Pittsburgh on offense, led by Nate Peterman. First year at Pittsburgh. He's a transfer from Tennessee, hails from Jacksonville, Florida. Very accurate passer. Better than 67% for the year, and has gone 151 passes without an interception since he threw a couple in their loss at Iowa. They lost on a 57-yard field goal at the end of that game. The undefeated Hawkeyes. 6'2", 225-pounder. And he hands it off on first down to Quadriolison. He's been the primary ball carrier in the absence of James Conner, who was the ACC Offensive Player of the Year last season and injured in the opener against Youngstown State.
You know, one thing this offensive line does well, Sean, is they get to the second level. They'll start a double team on the very fine defensive tackles of the Irish, and they get up to the linebackers. And when they're able to do that, they'll get 5 yards a pop.
Veteran offensive line, 103 combined career starts entering today. Olison again. Romeo Okwara made the tackle, but not before Olison reached the 46 for a 6-yard gain and a first down. And here's a look at the offensive line. The big story of the year has been Brian O'Neill, who was a tight end until this summer. Jared Jones-Smith, a terrific tackle who they think will be a pro, was injured in the preseason. O'Neill gained 30 pounds to get to 290. He'd wake up at 3:30 in the morning, set the alarm, have some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and go back to bed in an effort to gain weight. The toss to Jordan Whitehead, who got blasted as he reached the 50-yard line.
The way they've started this game offensively for the Panthers, very promising. They've got to be able to run the football. Really, this is the anti-tempo. They don't want to go fast. They want to slow things down. They want to be very precise in what they do, run the ball effectively, and occasionally take a shot deep for that explosive play.
You know, Jordan Whitehead's a starting safety. They moved him in to have some explosiveness on offense. And Jim Chaney told us yesterday that they want to manufacture yards. Well, how you manufacture yards, you get your most explosive players on the field and your most talented, and he's one of them.
They've had a tough time getting yardage in big chunks. Olison couldn't turn the corner. Got chased out of bounds by Daniel Cage, an important part of that front four for Notre Dame that really impressed Chris and Todd on tape this week.
He's a good player, Sean. He's an underrated guy, but he's a space eater. And that's why you have guys like Joe Schmidt and a very talented linebacker and Jalen Smith making plays sideline to sideline, because you have that talent as your defensive tackles.
Loss of 2 on the last carry. 3rd down and 7. Panthers at their own 49-yard line. Time for Peterman. Long throw, caught very close to the first down. It looks like Zach Challingsworth has it. They'll mark it inside the 44-yard line of the Irish. First down, Pittsburgh.
Well, one of the keys to the game is that another receiver has to step up and start making plays. Challingsworth does a nice job of running to the sticks, and Peterman with a dart to the sidelines.
I think Kivari Russell, number 6, the cornerback, is the guy I would go after. I know he has a big name and people know about him. He's had some big interceptions. I think he's the more vulnerable of the 2 corners for Notre Dame.
High formation. They go into the bag of tricks, not successfully. Peterman wanted to throw it after Olison fired it back to him, and Romeo Okwara blew it up.
Well, when you're trying to manufacture big plays, Sean, I like the idea, but you got to be able to execute on the block, and Bisnavati couldn't handle Okwara, who was there for the sack. You're asking your offensive line to block a long time on that type of play.
Loss of 13. You don't have players with the athletic ability to make big plays. You tried to scheme for them, and it backfired on Jim Chaney there. Their ball thrown into traffic, and it's incomplete. Cole Luke had the primary coverage on Tyler Boyd. And it'll be 3rd down and 23 for Pitt.
This is just an excellent job of Cole Luke, because the one strength that Tyler Boyd has among many is strong hands, and rarely does that ball get knocked out of his hands. And you see Luke go up and play the chest through the arms to knock it away. Usually Tyler Boyd will come down with that jump ball, with that 50-50 ball.
Did a good job there to knock it away from Cole Luke from Chandler, Arizona, the nephew of our ESPN colleague, the former great Dallas Cowboy Darren Woodson. who just got inducted into their Ring of Honor. Here comes a blitz. Peterman throws it up for grabs, and a diving attempt made by J.P. Holtz, and it's incomplete. Jalen Smith, the outstanding linebacker, came on the blitz after Peterman.
Well, Brian Van Gorder loves to bring pressure on third downs, and why not bring this guy right up the middle? And here's what I like. This is what Jalen can do well. First of all, it's the closing speed. And when you have Quadre Ollison miss on pass protection, you're going to get a shot by your quarterback. If he had time, he had an open receiver.
He missed him by a mile. I don't even know if he was trying that hard to pick up the blitzer with that effort. C.J. Sanders returns the punt. Brian Winslow was tackled by David Murphy. 49-yard kick and a 9-yard return. We're back in Pittsburgh. Notre Dame leading the Panthers 7-0. Some of the all-time greats in Pitt football history here today. Dan Marino, the honorary captain. Bill Fralick on the field before the game. The great coach Jackie Sherrill, Tony Dorsett, among others. Johnny Majors is here, the legendary coach. They're all here to honor Jimbo Covert, the offensive lineman who will have his number retired at halftime. Mike Ditka among the luminaries here as well. Sean Kaiser out throwing, a low throw, but caught by Will Fuller, who spins ahead for a couple more. Gain of 8. Juan Price made the tackle for Pittsburgh.
Again, anytime you can get the ball into the hands of your playmakers, it's a pretty one to get it into. And Will Fuller really improved on run after catch. And one area where I think he can get better, he needs to get a little bit stronger. But he's an explosive athlete, and the more you get the ball into his hands, the better chance you have of scoring.
Second and 2. C.J. Procyse stuffed before he could pick up the first down. Juan Price, with help from Jordan Whitehead, made the tackle for Pitt.
Big play for Whitehead and Pitt there, but I'm interested to see how this matchup plays out on the perimeter. We've got Will Fuller, who we've talked about already with the big play early on. He's matched up against Avonte Maddox, number 14. Fastest cover corner for Pitt, but Pitt is playing with fire, in my opinion, trying to leave him on an island, Maddox versus Fuller one-on-one. They're going to have to bring safety help. If they don't, my guess is Fuller's going to have a big afternoon.
Well, it's just a matter of time, Todd. They're going to go after him deep.
On 3rd and 1, they stay on the ground with Procyse for a first down to the 28-yard line. Tyreek Jarrett, the stop for the Panthers.
C.J. Procyse has had an outstanding year coming into the game, rushing for 947 yards. What they would like to see him do is come a little bit north-south. He's got to be a BYOBer. He's got to be your own blocker guy. And once he gets that adjustment down from moving the wide receiver to running back, he's going to get really explosive.
Converted receiver, actually started his career at Notre Dame as a safety. Deshaun Kaiser faked it to him and then gets leveled. Juan Price has had an active start to this one. And a rare sack for the Panthers, just their second in the last 4 games.
Well, this is the most explosive pass rusher they have, the number 5, James. And good job of the rip. Did you see the uppercut right there? Knocking the arms off of the tight end. And his height at 6 foot always helps him get leverage on taller offensive linemen. And that's an advantage for that young man right there.
They were leading the country in sacks through the first 5 games, but a step up in competition has resulted in far fewer sacks for the Pitt defense of late. Loss of 9 on the play. Josh Adams in at running back, true freshman. Matt Galambos made the tackle for Pittsburgh. Brian Kelly is the Notre Dame head coach in his 6th year as head coach of the Irish. The only Notre Dame coach to win at least 8 games in each of his first 5 seasons, and the only one to go to a bowl game in each of the first 5. He's going to win at least 8 again this year, almost certainly. It's 7-1 right now, and they're on their way to a bowl game again. A winning record for the 108th season in 127 years of Notre Dame football. Kaiser throws far sideline, out of bounds, incomplete pass intended for C.J. Procyse. Jordan Whitehead had the coverage, and the sellout crowd now fully engaged as the Pitt defense forces a punt from Tyler Newsome.
Well, that was a good job of Grigsby, number 3, helping Whitehead out by disrupting the inside number 2 receiver, so Whitehead had time to cover. Excellent coverage.
Vontae Maddox and Jordan Whitehead back deep for the punt. Pittsburgh has blocked 4 kicks this year, 3rd most in the country. Illinois and Temple at 5. It looks like they're set up for return, but they actually did get some heat on Newsome. Whitehead all the way back to his 22. And excellent coverage by the Fighting Irish. Matthias Farley leading the coverage unit. 55-yard punt, the loss of 1 on the return.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers, who would like to remind you that right now it's engagement season. Dr. Pepper and college football. It's a one-of-a-kind tradition. And the 2016 Ford Explorer. Be unstoppable.
Feels like football in Pittsburgh today. Gorgeous early November afternoon. 54 degrees at kickoff under partly cloudy skies, just a light breeze. As Notre Dame and Pittsburgh renew a spirited rivalry. Since 2008, they've played a 4-overtime game and a 3-overtime game. Some more trickery. Here's Tyler Boyd with the ball in his hands. Into Irish territory and yanked down by Max Redfield at the 42-yard line. They don't have many big playmakers, but he is certainly one.
Yeah, and find a way to get the ball to your most explosive player. And a good block by Aston, number 35. Boyd gets the short corner and shows what he can do in the open field with the ball in his hands.
And he's not going to run a 4.3 40 like Will Fuller will for Notre Dame, but he plays fast. Great vision, knows when to cut, really sees the whole field as a runner.
37-yard gain, his 18th carry of the year. To go with 63 receptions. Quadri Olison powers ahead. They want him to be more powerful, run lower, stay behind his pads, and use that 230-pound frame.
You know, Sean, we were talking to Coach Narduzzi, and he said if we block for 3 yards, we get 3 yards. Block for 7, we get 7. What they like to do is block for 3 and get 20. And what he's saying is he wants that young man to start breaking tackles, run forward, and use his frame and power and strength to get them pound out that extra yardage.
Olison, the lone back, redshirt freshman, does lower those pads, drives ahead powerfully, and he's very close to a first down near the 32-yard line. Daniel Cage made the stop. Pittsburgh's head coach is Pat Narduzzi, long regarded as one of the top assistant coaches in the country. 11 years with Mark D'Antonio, the last 8 at Michigan State as defensive coordinator. 6-2 in his first season as Pitt head coach. Their best start through 8 games since 2009, when they began 9-1 under Dave Wanstead, on their way to a 10-3 season. Great fit. He's from an hour and 15 minutes away in Youngstown. He loves it here already, and I think he's a guy for a program that hasn't had much stability, a head coach in recent years, who will be here for a long time.
Yeah, and you said it's the perfect fit, and I've known Pat a long time, and you know, what he's brought to this program is just he's different than Paul Chryst. Not saying he's better or worse. He's different because he's energetic. He's outgoing. I was out there at Thursday practice, and I had trouble keeping up with him. Bouncing around from field to field, on guys, encouraging guys, yelling at guys, doing everything he has to do to get these guys to play at their best. And right now, that offensive line is doing a great job of moving that line of scrimmage against that tough front 7 of the Fighting Irish.
Just a little bit short, the Panthers. Here's a 3rd down and about a foot. Peterman, the play fake. He can run, and he has a lot of running room. Inside the 15 and tackled inside the 10. Jalen Smith ran him down. Great call by Jim Chaney and beautifully executed by Peterman.
Jim Chaney called him an underappreciated athlete. Here's what I like. He does not panic. He's going to stay patient right there, looking for the downfield throw. It's covered. Then he converts that passing lane into a running lane.
Great job hiding the ball behind his leg. The defenders couldn't see it, and you're right, sneaky speed he has. Great job getting around the corner and running away for a little bit from Jalen Smith, one of the fastest defenders that you'll see at linebacker in all of college football.
Tremendous fake and a great shot. You saw the Notre Dame defenders heads turn. Tyler Boyd lines up as the Wildcat, ducks his head down at the 4-yard line. That's a concern for Jim Chaney. He's a bit concerned that they're asking Boyd to do too much. Said ideally 10 to 15 touches. He doesn't want him handling the ball 20 times and getting banged around. But he's by far their best offensive football player in the absence of James Conner.
He doesn't have really the body to take the pounding, so you want to try to limit his runs and contact, especially when he's running the football inside like he does in the Wildcat. On balance to the left.
On 2nd and goal, they're throwing a fade for Boyd, and it's off his fingertips and incomplete. Kavari Russell had the coverage for the Fighting Irish.
He has a step on him. He's able to get in good position, goes up for the ball. Usually Boyd's going to come down with that ball. That's not like him. Get plenty more chances today, but usually he's able to make that play. This is the matchup they want too against Russell, number 6.
Yeah, that's a clear drop. That's because his standard is so high, and the best asset he has as a wide receiver is those strong hands. Even though Russell might have got a little bit of his jersey, he's usually strong enough to pull away from that in that situation.
3 minutes to go, first quarter. Pittsburgh looking for a tying touchdown. 3rd and goal from outside the 4. Peterman under duress, running out of time, and throws it away. Cole Luke, the cornerback, applying pressure on Peterman.
Oh, coverage sack right there, or sack pressure, forcing Peterman to throw it away. And you know, one of the areas where Notre Dame has been inconsistent on the defense has been that back end. Held up right there in a key 3rd down situation in the red zone.
Chris Blewett is the field goal kicker. Made some big kicks. School record 56-yarder to win the game at Georgia Tech. He kicked another short field goal at Syracuse as time expired to give them a victory. 22-yarder. They're also a big fake kick team, but you think they'd take the 3 here, and they do. Blewett. Unfortunate name for a kicker, but more often than not, he does not match his name. He made it at 7-3. This is the 70th meeting all time between Notre Dame and Pittsburgh. It dates back to 1909, and they've had some memorable games over the years. It's usually very close. 9 of the last 10 decided by 9 points or less. Each of the last 6 decided by a touchdown or less. And over that span since 2008, they played a 4-overtime game and a 3-overtime game. Heinz Field sold out for a Pitt game for the first time since 2013, the last time Notre Dame was here. Chris Blewett kicks off. 60% of his kickoffs this year have gone for touchbacks, including his first today. And the second will as well. C.J. Sanders takes a knee. It's the start of a great day of college football action, an important day. No game more important today than Clemson and Florida State. A win and Clemson wins the Atlantic Division of the ACC. They're ranked number 1 in the first college football playoff rankings. Then tonight at 8, Ohio State number 3 in the college football playoff rankings. Still number 1 in the AP poll, hosting Minnesota. Florida State, Clemson at 3:30, presented by K Jewelers. Minnesota, Ohio State at 8 tonight, presented by Walmart. All of that action on ABC.
I think Deshaun Watson is going to get his toughest test, facing a very talented Florida State defense as a whole.
Seminoles have won the last 3 head-to-head against Clemson. On first down, C.J. Prosise upended as he probed the middle. Jordan Whitehead has had a busy start to this game, including his first touch of the year on offense. The true freshman safety from Aliquippa, PA.
Hey, Sean, if you see safeties making tackles at the line of scrimmage, alert over the top and go deep. If they're playing that tight, look for Notre Dame to challenge them deep.
Prosise outside. has a first down before he runs across the boundary. Good block from Quentin Nelson, the left guard, and Procise reached the 38 for a pickup of 11.
First of all, he gets to the second level, big 56, Quentin Nelson, and you see him sustain that block by keeping his hands inside. Now, as a defender, you have to hit and get, and with Nelson, that type of block and having the discipline not to hold, outstanding sustaining that block downfield.
Pressure off the corner. Kaiser didn't see it coming. Lafayette Pitts knocked the ball out, and the Irish got it back at the 32-yard line.
So when you're a young quarterback, you might not recognize a corner blitz, and first of all, Pitts does a good job of coming late off the ball. Kaiser never sees him, and an excellent job of not targeting and going after that football on the hit. As a young quarterback, you have to recognize that blitz, and the weakness of that defense end would be where the blitz came from.
C.J. Procise recovered the fumble. Loss of 6. 2nd and 16 as we approach 1 minute to go in the first quarter. Shoveled to Procise. Nice move. And then up the hash marks to the 44-yard line. We'll spot it back near the 43. Matt Galambos made the tackle.
A nice job of Procise there, sticking his foot in the ground and going north and south, beating Juan Price out in open field.
Procise shaken up on the play, goes out after yet another 10-yard gain. 3rd and 5 for the Irish, leading 7-3 in the final seconds of the first quarter. All day to throw for Deshaun Kaiser, and throws a rope for a first down to Will Fuller. He was wrestled down by Dennis Briggs, a backup corner.
Nice job of Fuller working back to the football.
10-yard gain for Fuller. Already 3 catches and a touchdown for Will Fuller. End of the first quarter at Pittsburgh. Notre Dame leading the Pitt Panthers 7-3. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. From Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, bad news for the Fighting Irish during the break between quarters. Their leading rusher, C.J. Procise, heading for the locker room. Looks like he injured his left shoulder as he hit the ground on that play.
Well, big loss, not only obviously carrying the football, Sean, 23 catches on the year, so he's a threat out of the backfield for the Fighting Irish. They've been resilient, handling injuries all year.
Josh Adams will take over as the ball carrier. He gets it on the misdirection and sprints through the Pittsburgh defense and is tough to bring down. Finally taken down by Avonte Maddox at the Panther 23-yard line.
So when you run a sprint out look, you're thinking the whole defense is thinking pass. So it makes it an easy block for the offensive lineman because the defense is dropping off and the defensive linemen are rushing upfield. You just shield them off, and Adams has a lot of space to do his work.
25-yard gain for the true freshman from Warrington, Pennsylvania. In the Philadelphia area, here comes a Pittsburgh blitz. Deshaun Kaiser with time, throws for Fuller, and incomplete. Looks like he might have had his fingertips on that ball. There is a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Well, good job of picking up the blitz, and nice route by Fuller. Kaiser puts it on the spot. That's the one he has to come down with.
The same corner we saw Boyd miss one. Two of the best receivers in the country. They've each had a drop so far.
Well, I think they're nervous because you're here, Todd.
I think so, too. Usually.
Dropping in Todd's rankings as we speak.
Number 10 is downfield. He was cut up. 5-yard split. Still first down.
Alizé Jones, true freshman tight end, had a huge catch against Temple last week. 45-yard play with under 3 minutes to go to set up the winning touchdown for Brian Kelly. Pitt said they would try to match up Avonte Maddox as much as they could. Number 14 on Fuller. He was retreating at the snap. Kaiser tackled by Mike Caprera. And the injury to Procise just the latest. Of course, Malik Zaire was the starting quarterback, injured in week 2 at Virginia. And Kaiser took over. Tarian Folston was their leading returning rusher. He went out in the first quarter of the opener with an ACL. Smythe, Jones, Crawford, Tranquil, and Bars, all key players, all lost due to injury. And yet the Irish are 7-1 and ranked number 5 in the country. Fuller. Wow, squirted through and it looked like he'd be down. He got very close to the first down. Waited patiently for blockers. K.K. Mosley-Smith finally did make the tackle.
Chris mentioned it earlier. It's one area of his game he's gotten so much better is running after the catch. And now they're trying to feature it, get him the ball. And right now you're seeing a little tempo from Notre Dame.
Up to the line quickly on 3rd down and 1. Kaiser. And they got it. It was barely trying to use that 6'4.5" frame.
Powerfully built, strong lower body.
K.K. Mosley-Smith still on the ground for Pittsburgh. The 5th-year senior plays in the middle of that defensive line.
Sean, one thing we talked about, all the injuries at Notre Dame, and still with their record, that's a credit to Brian Kelly and his recruiting and the talent that they have, just filling in other guys. Next man up.
Let's take a Mosley-Smith down for
AT&T presents the strongest.
While we were away, big number 95, K.K. Mosley-Smith, did walk off the field under his own power. He rotates in the middle of that defensive front. You saw the measurement just before the commercial break. First down, Irish. They have had difficulty in the red zone. More turnovers in the red zone since the start of last year than any team in the country. Not that time. It's a touchdown to Torrey Hunter with Terrence Webb draped all over him. Brian Kelly said they spent a lot of time this week on red zone offense and went through the thought process behind play calling. Wanted the players to know, here's why we are calling these plays in this situation. He used the word feel. We want them to feel the play call and understand what it's designed to accomplish.
Well, they felt it there, and the execution was there, Sean. That was a beautiful thrown ball, throwing a man open in Torrey Hunter.
Kaiser threw 2 interceptions in the second quarter in the red zone at Temple last week. That was a bullet for his second touchdown pass of the day. 12 yards and a flag on the extra point.
Contact made by number 94, defense, offside.
Jeremiah Taleni has come a long way to go to school at Pitt. He's from Hawaii.
Same type of water at the Pacific Ocean and the Three Rivers. Very similar.
Looking forward to being at the Maui Gym Maui Invitational. Start of our college basketball coverage in a couple of weeks. I'll send you a postcard.
Of course you will.
You and Todd McShay, very jealous. Yoon's extra point makes it 14-3 for the Fighting Irish. Kaiser 7 for 8 passing for 121 and 2 scores.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers. Brought to you by Buick, proud partner of the NCAA. And Pacific Life. For life insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed.
Shortly after Pat Narduzzi arrived, Pittsburgh put about $4 million into upgrading its football facility. Impressive locker room, meeting rooms. The players love it. And pictures of some of the all-time great players. I think you forget, Chris, if you're not a diehard Pitt fan, how many great players have played in this program,
including the best college defender ever, Hugh Green.
Avonte Maddox in trouble as he brings back the Tyler Newsome kickoff, and he's swung down by Matthias Farley shy of the 20-yard line.
Sean, when you play blitz coverage and you play man, you never want to give up the inside. Right there, Parrish is aligned inside, but he's going to lose his leverage right here with that little out stick. And this is the growth of Kaiser. When you see Kaiser throw, or that's Terrence Webb, excuse me, he lost his inside leverage. When you see the growth of Kaiser, he's throwing to an open spot, not to a man, and trusting that his guy will make the play. Outstanding recognition and a good route by Torrey Hunter.
And a 14-3 lead for Notre Dame. Chris James in at running back now. Sophomore tackled by Jalen Smith. Here's Cassidy Hubbarth in the studio.
Thanks, Sean. Taco Bell studio update. Duke coming off their controversial loss to Miami last week, taking on North Carolina. Elijah Hood puts the Tar Heels up 21-3. UNC with 3 TDs and 3 straight drives. They control their own destiny in the Coastal Division.
Even at 7-1, didn't crack the top 25 in the first college football playoff rankings. I thought that was surprising.
It is surprising because if you're watching on film, and they're a good football team, and Marquise Williams is outstanding at that quarterback position.
Nate Peterman in trouble, got rid of the ball. Andrew Betty had him wrapped up. There is a flag down on the field.
86, an eligible receiver in the area.
J.P. Holtz was in the area. They pick up the flag. Thrown by the official on the far sideline.
Right here's from Betty, and you know, one of the things that Notre Dame has on that defensive line is depth, and that's discipline. Not chasing any fakes, going upfield, taking the proper angle, and able to finish the deal when you get to it. Depth on that defensive line has been another growth process in this Notre Dame defense.
3rd down and 5. Peterman's pass off the hands of J.P. Holtz, the tight end, and incomplete. And it'll be a 3 and out for the Panthers offense.
Nice job by Joe Schmidt. And talk to Brian Van Gorder. They don't play zone. They play matchup. So that means when anybody's in your zone, you play a man-to-man. Joe Schmidt takes an excellent angle, forcing the wide throw by Peterman.
Ryan Winslow to punt. C.J. Sanders back deep. Short, wobbly kick. Takes a great bounce for Pittsburgh. Sanders dangerously fielded it, but saved them some yardage by doing so. The ball will be spotted at the 35-yard line. Celebrating its 11th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets, Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds.
Goes without saying, it's a huge series for this Pitt defense. They need to make something happen, even create some type of field position for their offense to help them out.
The Pitt offense that struggles to score. The Panthers already down by 11. Josh Adams in for the injured C.J. Prosise, weaved ahead for 3.
Well, Deshaun Kaiser, for a young quarterback, one of the things that really stands out is poise in the pocket. It's a really good job here. You're going to see pressure coming off the edge immediately. Keeps his eyes down the field, climbs up in the pocket, pressure in his face. He still follows through with that throw and puts it right where he needs to Will Fuller for that first touchdown of the game.
How about the blitz pickup by Prosise on Juan Price? Team offense.
2nd and 7. Kaiser time, throwing a deep ball. Fuller with his great speed just could not run under it. And he is running away from the Pittsburgh defense here in the first half, and it's a tough ask of Avonte Maddox in coverage.
Yeah, and especially when you get great pass protection and ask him to cover that long. And that's a matchup that Notre Dame came into this game wanting to exploit. The middle of the field is always going to be open against this defense because of the depth of the safeties.
Third down and 7. And a timeout requested by Kaiser with the play clock running out. 10:58 to go in the first half. The Irish leading 14-3.
I thought you said they got a Buick.
Affleck. Here's today's Affleck trivia question. What player holds the record for the most rushing yards in a single game against Notre Dame?
See if Pitt blitzes here, Sean, and it might be a little gun shy. That would be going against their personality after getting beat for that touchdown.
Playing way off the slot receiver. A drop ball and a handoff to Adams, and now a wrestling match for the football. Kaiser tried to hand it off to Josh Adams, the freshman. And I think Adams got it back at the 31-yard line.
Almost the break that Pitt needed. We talked about their defense creating. That's an incomplete pass. The ball was tossed forward. That's an incomplete pass. That ball being tossed forward.
Was it tossed though or handed to him?
It looked like it was tossed.
Loss of 7 on the play. Tyler Newsome on the punt. Low kick, returnable for Avante Maddox. And flags down. He might have gotten yanked by the face mask. Nicky Barati had the coverage. Only been one penalty accepted in this game, a 5-yarder against the Irish. Jeff Flanagan is the referee.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 29, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Pat Narduzzi saw what I thought I saw from up here, face mask. Sean Aduwu called for the illegal block for Pittsburgh.
See the penalty right there's the push in the back. It's something that you have to have the discipline not to do, and again taking away field position from Pitt.
Nate Peterman, the play action fake one way and a deep throw for Boyd, and he couldn't hang on with Max Redfield in coverage.
But that's on Peterman, the quarterback. He's got to get more air under that throw and allow his receiver to go and run under it. Fortunately, he puts it on a line, trying to get it out there in time, and gives the defender a chance to get back in the play.
And I think Redfield gets away with a little bit of a hold right there on Boyd. Boyd's also using his left hand to push off, so the officials are probably seeing their both hand fighting and let him go at it.
That's correct. Doug Rhodes, former ACC supervisor of officials, in our booth, and he's nodding as Chris says that. Chris James to the sideline, and then he ran into Max Redfield.
10-yard penalty, second down.
Holding call against Adam Biznavati. We'll bring this one back.
Right here, right, to see what Adam does on this little fullback dive, trying to work his hands back inside. I think on a run, if your hands are inside like that, you got to let him play on that one. Hands were inside, not outside the pads.
Ball back at the 20-yard line, under 10 minutes to go in the half. 2nd and 20 for Pittsburgh, trailing 14-3. James ahead for 4. Let's go back to the punt return, see if there was a face mask, and looked like a good no call there. Had a piece of the shoulder pad.
Nothing.
Because when the Notre Dame player made contact, his head whipped around. It looked like it could have been a face mask to Pat Narduzzi and to a lot of us in the stadium. But the officials were correct in not throwing the flag on that play. Dorian Johnson comes off the field, veteran left guard. 25th career start today. Started every game this year. Junior from Bell Vernon, Pennsylvania. 3rd and 17. Peterman up into the pocket. Tried to dump it off, and too high for Chris James.
Right there, and Todd talked about it. Peterman, after the throw, Sean, pounds his hand into the ground out of frustration because he is not delivering footballs accurately. That's his #1 physical attribute, and he's missing opportunities.
1 for 9 for 8 yards. He was not the starter at the beginning of the year. Chad Wojtek was a returning starter, but Peterman's the better thrower. And they felt without James Conner at running back, they needed the better passer at quarterback. Ryan Winslow's punt, the fair catch made by C.J. Sanders, a 41-yard kick. And now the answer.
Flag. I'll go with Curtis Martin.
And you are incorrect, sir.
Once again.
Player who holds the record for most rushing yards against Notre Dame from 40 years ago, the great Tony Dorsett, 303 yards on just 23 carries. And as we showed you, he is here today on the field before the game. 1976 Heisman Trophy Award winner.
Great finisher, too. Once he got to that second level, he was out. Tremendous football player.
Notre Dame takes over from its own 35-yard line, leading 14-3. Sean Kaiser, after the play fake, lofts one up. And a great attempt by Chris Brown, but he couldn't make the catch with Lafayette Pitts in coverage. Let's go back to November 15th, 1975. Tony Dorsett, 23 carries, 303 yards, and a touchdown. The Panthers beat the Irish that day 34-20. Three-time All-American, rushed for more than 6,000 yards. Second pick in the entire draft in 1977. And played with distinction for the Dallas Cowboys. Rushed for nearly 13,000 yards. Rory Blair took down Deshaun Kaiser. And it'll be 3rd down and long for Notre Dame.
Yeah, Rory Blair right here going to be coming off the end. Good discipline by Rory Blair, not chasing, doing his responsibility, reading the handoff, not given, and securing the deal on the quarterback of Kaiser.
Third down and 13. Four-man rush, well blocked by this Notre Dame line. Kaiser over the head of Will Fuller.
Better job of coverage right there by Pitt. Actually went to a 3 deep away from their normal quarters coverage, which with those safeties up tight, they rotated the coverage to Fuller, forced him to run a long route.
Tyler Newsome punts. Jordan Whitehead back deep. Monte Maddox also back deep. Good kick. Maddox knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. Tyler Luatua made the tackle for the Notre Dame special teams. 57-yard punt, 18-yard return.
And how about Tyler Boyd? Again, Jim Chaney tries to create certain ways to get him the football. Let it spread out wide in the backfield, wildcat formation. He also lined up as a tailback. Anytime you can get an explosive player, the ball in his hands, it gives you the best chance to get positive yards in an explosive place. And that's the one thing that this team is lacking right now, is that explosiveness, as Whitehead's lined up at tailback now.
Ordinarily a safety, playing offense for the first time this year. Has some speed, breaks the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. And he got about 9. Matthias Farley ran him across the boundary. Notre Dame playing without Elijah Shoemate, ordinarily a starter at safety in the first half. He was ejected in the second half last week at Temple for targeting. Has to sit out the first half of this game.
Yeah, Whitehead from Aliquippa was a tailback in high school and showed some tailback skills right there, eluding the outstanding player Jalen Smith in the backfield.
Darren Hall now the running back, a true freshman. On 2nd and short. Hall has the first down across the 40. He's from Pat Narduzzi's hometown of Youngstown, Ohio. Austintown Fitch High School. Narduzzi very involved in the operation of the defense. Josh Conklin is his defensive coordinator. Just the second pass on first down today for Pitt. And a deep throw and a diving catch made at the 15-yard line. Dontez Ford with Kavari Russell in coverage.
Well, again, Sean, about somebody stepping up to make a play besides Boyd, who has 3 guys over him. Dontez Ford does a great job of laying out good concentration and
that'll probably be reviewed in the booth by Ralph Pickett.
It's right there. He has control of the ball.
A rule to catch on the field, and I haven't seen anything yet that would overturn it.
On the field was a catch. That play is under review.
If it stands, it's a 42-yard gain to Dontez Ford, who actually looked like he took a little contact up around the helmet right there before the ball got there. Doug Rhodes, as we mentioned, former supervisor of officials for the ACC, is with us. I guess that's the question there, Doug. Does the ball roll onto the ground?
Right. If the ground becomes the element that allows him to make it, he's got to control it completely. It looks to me like this thing rolls loose here at the basement. He's got to survive contact with the ground by maintaining control. So at least from these views right here, he clearly possesses it, brings it in, but then at the very end, I don't think he survives contact with the ground.
But that's the key. You said you don't think, but is it indisputable video evidence?
Right, and that's the very language that replay has to involve. It has to be indisputable, beyond all doubt. Okay, and in this case here, from these two views, at the very end of that, yeah, there was some contact up high there too, not targeting. But here, does he control it and survive with the ground? In my view, no.
I see that ball rolling, and so that's telling me that the ground did help him make the catch, so this call should
Again, I'd ask you both. Is it indisputable?
It's indisputable to me.
Evidence.
Yes, to me it is. Right there.
Well, it should be to everybody, right? If it's indisputable, nobody would dispute it.
If I were the replay booth, it's indisputable.
Well, you got 10 guys there that look at it, all of them say it is. That's indisputable. But in this case, I go with Chris also. That ball rolled.
Well, it's a huge decision for Ralph Pickett in the replay booth, which we've mentioned several times, and Pat Narduzzi, Jim Chaney openly acknowledged it, is an offense that struggles to make big plays. And Pat Narduzzi said at this point, with the talent level such as it is, they have to be just about perfect when they play a team like this. Yeah. They need things like this to go their way.
No margin for error. Little things from alignment, from assignments, they have to be perfect, and they have to have a break, and that would be a break if this is allowed to stand.
And I'd go back to indisputable. If it's taken Ralph Pickett this long, unless there are new angles that he's just seeing right now, how is it indisputable?
After review, the receiver did not complete the process of the catch. It'll be second down and 10 from the Pittsburgh 41.
Pat wants an explanation. I think they got it right. There's one angle there that showed that the ball rolled. Now his hands are underneath it, but the ball will roll. Right there, it's on the ground and it rolls. That's a dropped pass.
And you can tell that.
Yes, I can. And I can tell it from this angle also.
So it comes back to the 41, 2nd and 10. Swing pass. Tyler Boyd gets through the traffic and then goes out of bounds. Might have taken an awkward step that cost himself the first down. And now just shy of the marker at the 50-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a yard for the Panthers with 6.5 to go in the first half.
Well, you got to know where you are in the field. You're Tyler Boyd. You have to go get the first down. You don't avoid contact in that situation. There are times when you do avoid contact. That's not one of them. Get the first down, put your head down, and run somebody over.
If Darren Hall got it, it's barely ran into his own man on the way across the line of scrimmage. James Onwalu made the tackle for Notre Dame.
That's why you get the first down, Sean, with Boyd when he has yards to work with instead of ducking out of bounds, so you're not faced with a difficult decision to go for it on 4th down. If I'm Pitt, I go for it on 4th down. I have a struggling offense. I have good field position. I have a pretty good offensive line. I'm down 14-3. Go for it.
Boy. Jeff Flanagan has to crouch down. They're just short.
Anytime Pitt has a short yardage situation, they love to run to your left side. And if we go by the yellow line, he's short right there. All momentum is stopped short of that yellow line. Now that yellow line isn't totally accurate, but the head linesman comes in.
Always accurate.
Okay. The head linesman comes in and marks it short.
I think the problem was he ran into his own man, Jamar Parrish, who was going in motion as a blocker and slowed down the progress of Hall. He ran into that stout Notre Dame defensive front. They're 9 of 11 on 4th down this year. They've converted their last 9 since that loss at Iowa.
Jim likes to run over that left side behind Bisnavati and Johnson.
And that's where they go again. Audrey Olison back in there, and he has the first down. Joe Schmidt made the tackle. And Jim Chaney said that yesterday. The strength of our offensive line is the left, and I don't care if we have a tendency or not, and the other team knows that's where we're going, and Notre Dame did. They had plenty of bodies there. We're going to go there more often than not.
Good job by Olson getting something out of nothing, actually spinning away, because Notre Dame did have guys behind that line of scrimmage to stand him up. He avoided contact and made his own yards, became his own blocker.
Nate Peterman floats one, man open. J.P. Holtz out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Matthias Farley made the tackle for Notre Dame. A 27-yard completion to the tight end Holtz.
A good amount of success on the ground. The play action helps set it up. They also do a nice job with the passing concept. They run off the receivers on the perimeter. They're able to really open up that intermediate zone. A nice touch there by Peterman, who also had a great throw on that non-pass interference. It was called a non-catch.
Now it's all set by protection right there, and Olson wasn't asked to pass protect. And that's always a plus when you can block with 5 offensive linemen.
Peterman again zips one toward the end zone, intercepted. Matthias Farley snagged the ball that was underthrown in the direction of Jordan Whitehead. First turnover of the game for either team, and a killer for Pitt.
Move safeties with your eyes. Peterman's going to lock down on the inside receiver, James, releasing out of the backfield because he thinks he has a matchup all alone one-on-one with Schmidt, but he does not move Farley off the football, who gets a tremendous break and cuts underneath and catches the ball at the highest point. Peterman did not move him with his eyes at all, allowed Farley to get a break and make a huge play for the Fighting Irish.
He had thrown 163 passes without an interception before Farley picked him off. First of the year for Farley. He had 4 last season. Jim Chaney said Peterman's greatest strength is accuracy in his decision making, and both of those areas let him down on that play. They marked the ball at the 1, so Notre Dame will have to work out of a hole here.
How about an all-out blitz by Pitt right now? Bring 11. Why not? Try to get that safety, get some momentum.
Josh Adams still a running back. Kaiser using his big body to get them a yard or 2.
Right here, you're going to see him releasing right down in the middle of the field. That's Whitehead He's staring him down the whole way, Sean, and this allows Farley to get that break. He breaks before the ball's thrown. Schmidt does a good job of playing underneath, and Farley cuts it off inside, just reading the quarterback's eyes.
On 2nd and 9, Adams found a hole, squirted out near the 9-yard line. Darrell Render made the tackle for Pittsburgh. Here's a big 3rd down and 2 as we go under 4 minutes to go in the first half.
Do you trust your defense to blitz, to get the pressure, to play man-to-man? That's been the MO of Pat Narduzzi for 30 years. Is he going to stick with it in this certain point, this crucial time for the Pitt Panther defense?
Irish still without C.J. Procyse, their leading rusher, who left earlier in the half with an apparent left shoulder injury. Adams stuffed a yard short. Lafayette Pitts. You wondered if they put pressure up around the line. That's a cornerback dropping that play shy of the 1st down marker. 4th down and 1. And after a moment's hesitation, here comes the punting team for Brian Kelly.
It's a good call by Pat. And patience by Pitts. Not showing it, coming late, timing it perfectly, and hitting the backfield on a run in the backfield.
Devontae Maddox back. They have 10 men up around the line of scrimmage now, with Tyler Newsome punting after the 3rd straight 3-and-out for Notre Dame. Another good kick. Maddox back to his 35. Whoop. A lot of footwork, didn't do him much good. But he showed some quick feet and hips, but no yardage to show for it. Connor Cavaleris made the tackle for the Irish, a 55-yard punt.
I'm going to be a clinical.
Cassidy Hubbard with your studio update. Let's take a look at who's getting it done. Presented by Wells Fargo. And after a Treon Harris interception, Ralph Webb returns it 74 yards for the touchdown. Gators, they can clinch the SEC East with a win, but trailing 7-6 right down the 2nd.
All right, Cassidy, thank you. Here at Heinz Field, Dan Marino, among the many former great players and coaches at the University of Pittsburgh, here to honor Jimbo Covert at the half. There's Johnny Majors. Panthers ball. And Nate Peterman goes down back at the 30-yard line. James Onwalu with a sack for Notre Dame.
Well, the liability is Ollison in the backfield as a pass protector, number 37. Right there, he's a willing guy, but he's not able to hold out.
Here comes pressure from Notre Dame, and J.P. Holtz couldn't catch the ball.
Lost opportunity. I mean, that's what we would talk about when we talk about Pitt, right? They got to be perfect, and when they have a chance to convert and get hidden yards and save yards, you can't drop the ball.
Yeah, they had a good play called against that blitz, and Holtz, normally sure-handed, one of the 4 team captains for the Panthers, dropped the ball. 3rd down and 17. Irish bring pressure again. Peterman trying to roll away from Jalen Smith. Got the throw off. And it's an incomplete pass. Again, the catch not made. Tyler Boyd along the far sideline. Would have been about a yard short of the 1st down. And the Panthers will punt on 4th and 17.
Well, another almost play by the Panthers, and a drop by a guy that doesn't drop it, Boyd. And at least it would have gave them a decision to make on a 4th and short, or create some type of field position for their defense.
Ryan Winslow's 4th punt of the day. Punters have been excellent on both sides. C.J. Sanders back to the 31-yard line. Jordan Whitehead, the tackle for Pittsburgh. Here's a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Deshaun Kaiser 2 touchdown passes early. The opening drive of the game, just 3 plays to score. 47-yard touchdown pass to Will Fuller, and then he threaded the needle here to Torrey Hunter for the second score.
And missed actually a 3rd touchdown to Fuller. And I think when you look at DeShone Kizer and his growth, Sean, to me, and we haven't seen much of it today, but we saw a little bit last week against Temple, was his ability to run that read option. And when that becomes a factor in this offense, it makes him that much more difficult to defend.
143 rushing yards last week at Temple. You saw just 3 yards short of the single game record for Notre Dame quarterback. Kizer batted down by Lafayette Pitts. Intended for Corey Robinson.
Pitts was benched last week in the 4th quarter. And this goes to show you why, as a corner, you have to have a short memory, because when you get your opportunity to play again, you make plays, and he's made plays all day. Outstanding job of not interfering with Robinson and cutting underneath to catch the ball that was late and behind.
Robinson nearly 6'5". Pitts matched up on him at 5'11". Corey is the son of the great David Robinson, basketball Hall of Famer, 10-time NBA All-Star. Josh Adams cross midfield and out of bounds. Taken out by Jordan Whitehead. They'll spot it at the 46-yard line to the Panthers. It's a 24-yard run.
Well, when your philosophy is upfield and attack, that creates seams, and you see the depth that Notre Dame has when you have Josh Adams coming off the bench, replacing C.J. Prosise, making a great cut and getting extra yards going north and south.
He's had just 1 carry in the previous 2 games. Did not carry the ball at all last week against Temple. Had 1 rush against USC. Kizer, deep ball, single coverage, caught by Fuller. Touchdown again for Will Fuller.
When you play quarters, safeties are up. The corners have to be inside. There's no help inside to the wide part of the field. The post is a weakness, and a good quarterback and receiver will exploit that weakness all day.
And I know Avonte Maddox was step for step with him just behind him, but ultimately Will Fuller fast enough to get that last step when he needed it and go up and make the play. I just don't understand allowing your cornerbacks to play this frequently on an island against one of the fastest receivers in the country.
Justin Yoon, the extra point. 46-yard score for Fuller. His first touchdown catch today was 47. He has 11 touchdowns receiving this year, and 7 of them have been for 30 yards or longer. The average is more than 20 yards per catch for the year. He's already over 100 yards receiving with 126. 9th career game of 100+ receiving, his 5th of this year, including each of the first 3 games of the season. Coming up at the half, John Saunders, Mark May, Mac Brown, the Capital One halftime report, scores and highlights from all around college football. They'll get you ready for some of the big games later on today on ABC. 3:30 Eastern time, Florida State at Clemson. We saw Florida State in person last week and Clemson 2 weeks ago. Who do you like in that one?
I like Clemson at home, but I like it in a close one. And the big matchup for me is I think Florida State's secondary as a group is really, really talented. My best defensive player overall, Jalen Ramsey, has played corner. So the matchup is going to be the skill of Clemson against that secondary of Florida State. Who wins that battle?
Minute 35 to go in the half. Newsom, some awkward footwork on the approach. Line drive kick. Maddox had trouble with it and got whacked around as he crossed the 15-yard line. On ESPN, there's great action starting at 3:30. 2 Big Ten matchups today on ESPN, each with an undefeated team. Number 9, Iowa is at Indiana. The Hawkeyes ranked number 9. And then tonight, 7 Eastern time, 7th ranked and undefeated Michigan State takes on Nebraska. Iowa, Indiana, presented by Cars.com at 3:30. Michigan State, Nebraska, brought to you by Hilton at 7. All today on ESPN. Nate Peterman on first down. Nate Peterman still on his feet and fights his way to the 43-yard line. And there's a flag back of the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul. Defense number 45. Hands to the face. 15 yards to be added to the end of the run. First down.
You know, it's interesting, Sean. You look at the Pitt offensive team and they see a flag. They all started walking back thinking something bad was going to happen to them.
And
hey,
the crowd
something
thought
good.
so too.
Yeah.
The crowd was groaning when they saw the flag and anticipating a walk back. Romeo Okwara called for the hands to the face.
See right here, just on a pass rush. And yeah, his hand's inside there. You have to get that and release it right away. And the recognition by Peterman on man coverage to tuck it and run and get positive yards.
Peterman steps into a throw, and it's off the hands of J.P. Holtz. Would have been a tough catch, but he's had his hands on a couple in recent moments without being able to corral it.
Again, it's a half of almost plays. This is a well-thrown ball. You have to go up with two hands as opposed to one, working on Jalen Smith. Normally reliable. It's frustrating.
Senior out of Shaler area high school here in the Pittsburgh area. 2nd and 10. Peterman. And a diving attempt and an incomplete pass to Zach Challingsworth with Cole Luke in coverage. 1:03 to go in the half. 3rd down and 10 for Pittsburgh. Probably not in field goal range here. Be 59 yards.
One of the problems that Pitt has, and we talked about in the open, is that nobody can create separation except one receiver, and that's Boyd. Even when the ball's well thrown, the Notre Dame defender is right there.
And Boyd has one catch for 9 yards. Notre Dame brings the heat. Peterman scrambling away from Joe Schmidt. Throws a wobbler on the run. Diving attempt made, incomplete. Dantes Ford.
Well, we know that Brian Van Gorder is going to be a blitzer on 3rd downs, and take a look at Joe Schmidt right here. You have pressure coming off the corner, and this is just a nice job of a zone blitz, forcing Peterman out, and almost a catch, and almost a good throw. Good effort by Ford.
Peterman now 3 for 18 passing for 44 yards and an interception. And a costly one when they were driving. Ryan Winslow punt. Pitt's been very solid all season long on special teams. That's executed beautifully and downed at the 3-yard line. Tomorrow morning on ESPN, get your NFL Sunday started off on the right foot. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, NFL Insiders for all the early breaking news. And then at 11 on Sunday NFL Countdown, Peyton Manning returns to Indy, where his impact was much greater than just his play on the field. Meet the dozens of high school players named Peyton, named after their parents' favorite quarterback. That all starts at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN, streaming live on Watch ESPN. Coach Ditka will make the trip back to our palatial ESPN studios to be a part of our coverage tomorrow morning.
You know, people, we talk about, obviously a great coach. People forget how great a player Mike Ditka was at that tight end position.
Sean Kaiser trying to bulldoze his way out. Pittsburgh does have 3 timeouts if they wanted to use them on defense and force a punt. Doesn't look like that's the way they're going to go, and both teams will be content, it seems, to take it to the locker room.
Why wouldn't you use him? I'd use him. Force him to punt in the end zone, send 11 to block it. Nothing to lose.
Unless you're afraid Will Fuller's going to run by one of your defenders for another big play.
That'd be a gutsy call on Brian Kelly's part, but you can protect yourself against that. Or try to protect yourself against that. He's pretty quick.
5 catches for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns for Will Fuller. Pittsburgh will get the ball to begin the second half. Halftime here in Pittsburgh. The Irish leading the Panthers 21-3. The Capital One halftime report right after these messages. Welcome Welcome back to ESPN on ABC College Football, presented by Kay Jewelers. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Notre Dame will play 6 ACC teams in football this year, including Pittsburgh. They're leading the Panthers 21-3 at the half. There's 44 passing yards for the Pittsburgh Panthers. We welcome you back. Sean McDonough, Chris Spielman, Todd McShay on the field. Nate Peterman, the quarterback for Pittsburgh, came in completing more than 67% of his passes for the season. He was 3 for 18 in the first half. That's under 17%. But he and the Panthers will have the ball first to begin the second half. Tyler Newsome kicks off. Levante Maddox from the 4. And then he's knocked out of bounds at the 23-yard line. A very impressive first half, Chris, for Will Fuller for Notre Dame, and Pittsburgh, a team that has struggled on offense all year. Moved the ball a little bit in the half, but couldn't put it in the end zone.
Well, the problem is they get behind. They rely on their power running game to set up play action. They've been unable to do that. And on defense, Sean, if they continue to play their safeties up close to the line of scrimmage, which is Pat Narduzzi's calling card, they're going to continue getting attacked in the post. And they have yet to defend that. And also, right here, Peterman, yes, has only completed 3 passes. Had some drops, though. Not an excuse, but there's guys that have to step up and make plays for him.
Well, Boyd could have had a touchdown on the ball in the end zone. Would have been a tough catch. The tight end Holtz dropped a couple.
Not a way to start the half with an illegal substitution.
Illegal substitution. Offense, 12 men in formation. 5 yards. Still first down.
Well, when you're struggling on offense, you might as well try that. See if you can slip an extra guy out there and get away with it.
I think they're just trying to do anything to create or generate some type of explosive plays, and something that this offense lacks. So let's get Canadian on them.
Peterman transfer from Tennessee. Came here to Pittsburgh in part because Jim Chaney was his offensive coordinator when he was at Tennessee. Sheldon Day made the tackle after a gain of 2. Peterman graduated from the University of Tennessee in 3 years with a degree in communication. Very bright young man. 3.4 GPA. He's working toward an MBA. He does have 2 years of eligibility here at Pittsburgh.
I think he's a good football player. Now, he obviously struggled in that first half, but you watch him on film and in practice, he needs a few more weapons around him to see how he can really excel, because he is accurate with the football.
Fires far sideline, incomplete. Looking for Dontez Ford, a transfer from Syracuse, with Kavari Russell in coverage.
No separation whatsoever. Kavari Russell on top of Ford. You have to work back to the quarterback or come out of your route. But when there's no separation created, there's not a big target for Peterman to hit.
There's Brian Van Gorder, second year's defensive coordinator at Notre Dame. Longtime defensive coordinator. Started out back in 1989 with Brian Kelly at Grand Valley State. Van Gorder spent 7 years in the NFL, was defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. Peterman, that time the ball's caught by J.P. Holtz. He had a couple of drops in the first half. That moves the chains on a completion to the 41-yard line.
It's a nice job by Peterman hanging in the pocket. He's well protected, waits for his tight end. Not until he opens and gets it open in that window, but throws it with anticipation and puts it right in the perfect spot, Chris.
It's an excellent job of Holtz coming back. 2 drops in the first half. He's a reliable target for Peterman, and he needs to be a factor in the second half if Pitt wants to get back into this ball game.
They particularly like the tight ends in the red zone. Quadri Olison leads his way to the 45-yard line.
And guys, the first half, Pittsburgh did a nice job up front, I thought, running the football. They sustained some drives, but they couldn't finish, and I thought the big difference was the lack of explosive plays. Notre Dame had them, Pittsburgh didn't have them on the offensive side, and that really is the difference in terms of the scoreboard.
Well, and Pittsburgh only has one explosive player on their offensive side, and that's Boyd, number 23, who had a chance for an explosive play to make a touchdown.
He just did one catch for 9 yards. Talked about this being a game featuring two of the best wide receivers in the country. Fuller has been much more productive. Another good catch. This one by Scott Orndoff, another tight end. Jabari Russell made the tackle, but it's a first down for Pittsburgh. Important opening possession of the second half. A 6-yard gain. And they're in Notre Dame territory now at the 49. Darren Hall, the running back. Boyd, good tackle by Jalen Smith, one of the best linebackers in the country. Junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana, finalist for the Butkus Award last year as the best linebacker in the country, and he's even better now as a junior.
Well, when you put him on film, this is what he does best. Just run people down. He's running down a wide receiver from the backfield, and his defensive linemen do a good job of keeping him free. One area where I think he's improved this year, Sean, is taking on blockers at the point of attack. That's where he struggled last year. Much better this year on film.
Peterman straight back to pass. No pressure from Notre Dame. Deep ball into a crowd. It's caught. Dontez Ford wrestled down to the 10-yard line by Max Redfield and Cole Luke. 37 yards for Pittsburgh.
Good job of protecting right here. No pass rush from Notre Dame. And watch him work back to the football. Here's where he helps Peterman out. See him come back to the football to cut off Luke. Now that's a guy making a play for Peterman right there.
And Boyd, as you like to say, almost all day long. He almost had the one where he got his hands underneath it, almost came back and made the really nice play along the sideline. Does a nice job making sure he makes the play there.
Yeah, Ford did a good job of working back for a touchdown.
Jordan Whitehead hadn't played offense until today. Their starting safety. He's provided a spark on a couple of occasions. They ran quickly to the line of scrimmage and snapped it quickly.
Look at Notre Dame checking around, looking around, and before they were actually really set, Whitehead shows his burst behind that offensive line to get into the end zone untouched. A good block by Parrish, number 31.
They needed a touchdown on this opening drive. Chris Blewett makes it 21-10. 8 plays, 77 yards for the Panthers and a 10-yard touchdown run by Jordan Whitehead, the true freshman from Aliquippa. If you're out and about on any college football Saturday, you don't have to miss any of the action while you're on the go. You can stream any game live by downloading the Watch ESPN app. Go to watchespn.com. Gorgeous November day in Pittsburgh. The Panthers within 11 now after a touchdown on their opening drive of the second half. Chris Blewett kicks off. It'll be a touchback. Here's today's AT&T strong performance with Todd McShay.
Well, the story of the first half, Sean, is Will Fuller, the one-on-one matchups he had. Now, it's against quarter zone coverage. You're going to see here, this is a staple for Pat Narduzzi. 4 defensive backs, they each have quarter deep responsibility. The safety, though, because of the Notre Dame route concept, is forced to come up, and that creates the one-on-one mismatch for Fuller on the outside. So zone coverage basically turned into man-to-man against one of the fastest, in my opinion, wide receivers in the country.
And Todd, if they don't switch that coverage, having Maddox play inside technique when he has no safety help, it's only a matter of time before Brian Kelly recognizes it and they start attacking the post again.
Completely
That is the weakness of that defense, and they'll keep going at it until you make some type of adjustment.
Vontae Maddox lined up on him at the bottom of your screen. Then he backs off near the snap. Kaiser after the fake to Josh Adams. Tough run. Deshaun Kaiser across the 30 to the 31. 6-yard gain. If you joined us late, C.J. Prosise, Notre Dame's leading rusher, and one of the top rushers in the country this year, injured a shoulder in the first half. And Todd, you have an update on CJ.
Well, spent the half basically trying to talk to everyone at Notre Dame. They said they would get us an update, but unfortunately, because of their policies, they said they're not going to have an update until the game's over. Not very helpful, but clearly he's not back on the field, so we don't expect him back.
Now here's Adams, his replacement, showing terrific speed as he burst through the line of scrimmage and across midfield before they yanked him down at the Pittsburgh 46. Jordan Whitehead made the tackle.
Well, one man's loss, another man's opportunity. Thank you very much, Mr. Adams. Watch a pulling guard. He does not roll or run to where the play was designed. Using his vision, he cut back to the hole that was vacated by the pulling guard. A freshman running like a senior.
For 23 yards, 8 carries, 79 yards for Josh Adams. They stick with him, and he's wrestled down at the 42 by Juan Price.
Yeah, I want to go back to the point we talked about in the first half, to sustain all these injuries and yet have a 7-1 record, and it seems like you're not missing a beat, is a credit to what Brian Kelly has done in the recruiting department as far as bringing talent in, then young talent stepping up and ready to play when they're called upon.
Adams through the middle, and another first down for the Irish. Matt Galambos made the tackle, but Adams got to the 34. A run of 8. He goes off. And Galambos comes out as well. Dexter Williams replaces Adams as the running back for Notre Dame. He's a true freshman from Winter Garden, Florida. Kaiser swings it out quickly to Torrey Hunter, showing his speed down the sideline. Out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
There's a problem if you're playing man-to-man, what you're trying to do with Maddox on Fuller. You're going to follow him inside. Then you're going to lose sight of your primary responsibility, which is to contain the screen. So Torrey Hunter has an easy contain breaker right there because Maddox was forced to follow Fuller inside.
19-yard pickup. Hunter's so great in that short passing game. They'd love to throw screens to him. Another short pass is Kaiser. Too hot and high for Nick Wisher, the tight end. Terrence Webb had coverage.
Just missed him right there. That's a bad throw. Throw him open. He was wide open, and I think they were not on the same page. It looked like Wisher kind of slowed his route a little bit.
Josh Adams back in at running back. Notre Dame trying to answer the score on the opening drive of the second half by Pittsburgh. Adams, like Kaiser, decided at the last minute to give him the ball, and Juan Price yanked him down. Very little gain on that play.
Should have kept it. They had Grigsby coming off the blitz and running right toward the running back on that mesh point on that zone read. And he'll improve in that. He's gotten better as the season's gone along. But that's going to be part of their game plan moving forward, is that zone read option with Kaiser. Got the matchup at the top, one-on-one. Fuller versus Maddox.
Big third down and 9 in the red zone with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Kaiser throws it up for Fuller. Wrestling match, touchdown, say the officials. Avonte Maddox had the coverage.
Against number 7, Will Fuller.
That's the matchup that we pointed out. It's a mismatch. One at 5'9", the other at 6 foot, and we know that all ties go to the offense when both come down. That's a great effort by Maddox, but when you have an All-American wide receiver that is hungry for the ball and knows how to finish, especially in the end zone, that's the end result. It's a great effort by Maddox, but ties go to the offense.
And Jordan Whitehead, the safety, sitting right there. And I realize they're trying to bring him up and run support, but you got to cheat him out and then let him come up once he reads run. You've got to provide support. So we continue to say.
Yeah, you expect with 9 yards to go. It was a passing situation. With Maddox left by himself, and he hasn't been able to contend with Will Fuller today. His third touchdown catch. 28th of his career. 140 yards receiving on 6 grabs.
College football on ABC, presented by K Jewelers, brought to you by John Hancock. When life comes, let John Hancock help you prepare for it. And Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper and college football. It's a one-of-a-kind tradition.
Each team has had the ball once in the third quarter. Each has scored a touchdown. Notre Dame responding to the Pittsburgh score to reclaim an 18-point lead nearly midway through the third quarter now. Notre Dame ranked number 5, just out of the 4-team college football playoff in the first rankings of this season. Tyler Newsome's kickoff is a touchback. Just the start of a huge day of college football action here on ABC. At 3:30, the crucial showdown in the ACC. Top-ranked Clemson can clinch its division in the ACC with a win over Florida State tonight at 8. ABC Saturday Night Football. Minnesota's in Columbus to take on Ohio State. Number 1 all year in the AP poll, and still number 1, but number 3 in the college football playoff rankings.
Waiting to find out who's going to start a quarterback for Florida State. In my mind, there's no question. Sean McGuire gives that offense the best chance to be successful down the field. He needs to be the starter against Clemson.
I agree with what we saw last week. McGuire likely gives Clemson the best chance to win. Quadriolis in the ball carrier. Isaac Rochelle drove him back, a gain of 1. What do you think, Todd?
Make it 3 for 3. I usually don't agree with you two up there, but you know, the biggest difference to me is the vertical passing game. It opens things up, and then you're hoping that Dalvin Cook is back and close to 100%, and add Patrick to the mix, the freshman running back from a week ago, and it really seems like they're on the verge of exploding offensively, but McGuire puts it all together, and he's got to get the ball out quickly like he did last week versus behind an offensive line that has struggled in pass protection all year long.
I think because we're not hearing an answer, that's why McGuire is going to be starting.
Peterman on 2nd and 9, running away from the rush. Daniel Cage trying to run him down. Peterman stayed inbounds and got about 6 or 7 more yards. 20-yard gain.
So when you pass rush, Sean, you have to maintain your pass rush lanes. Notre Dame gets caught inside, and Cage loses his rush lane, and Peterman takes advantage of it. And he is an underappreciated athlete, like Coach Chaney told us. He's got good feet, good movement. Tripped over his own feet there, but after gaining 20-some.
Tyler Boyd now lines up with a direct snap of the Wildcat. He wants to throw it. He throws it down the field, incomplete. Crowd wants a flag for interference on Zach Challingsworth.
Yeah, Redfield got away with a little bit of a grab. He's going to grab him by the hip. Number 10 coming into your screen right there. See the grab right there? He grabbed him and slew him down by the hip. That's a missed call. That is a missed call, and one that Pitt needed to have happen for them. You cannot grab the momentum of the hip and slow him down.
The third pass attempt of the year for Tyler Boyd. He had completed the first 2. And as you said, should have at least gotten the flag on that play. 2nd and 10. Panthers from their own 46. Quadriolis to midfield. I'm told by the truck I said Sean McGuire gives Clemson the best chance to win. And if I did say that, I meant I believe he gives Florida State the best chance to win.
So you didn't mean what the great Will McDonough meant when he said he's good enough to keep both teams in it, right?
Yeah, there are some quarterbacks who do keep both teams in the game. He's not one of them.
No.
He was ultra impressive last week in the win over
really
the Harvard of Central New York, Syracuse University.
Ranked 61st.
But that is so mean. Under 6 minutes to go. Nate Peterman, good throw between 2 defenders and caught by Tyler Boyd. He's hurt. Just his 2nd catch of the day. This one goes for 24 yards.
It was a good job by the cornerback, Cole Luke, to come off of his receiver and to go provide help, but he was just a little bit too late. Nice job, perfectly thrown ball, and once again, Boyd makes a tough catch along the sidelines, gets his feet in.
Yeah, and I love the placement of the football. He knew Cole Luke in that coverage. You know your corner is going to sink back, so the one mistake you do not want to make is underthrow. He put that ball up and away, trusting that the Boyd would go up and catch it with those strong hands.
Looks like he's all right, back on his feet. Not any noticeable distress. Much better start to this half. More completions already in the third quarter than he had in the entire first half for Nate Peterman. Throws one for the end zone. Incomplete for Dontez Ford. Coverage from Elijah Shoemate. They were both out of bounds when the ball got there. They were tangled.
It's kind of been the story of Pitt, huh, Sean? I mean, slow first half, sluggish. They come out battling in the second half, and that's been their identity. He needs to get rid of that identity for Pitt to be competitive.
Well, they showed a replay on the scoreboard. Pat Narduzzi thought that should have been pass interference.
Well, it's clear to me they're letting them play. So you as a player have to adjust to how the officials are calling the game.
Play fake to Quadri Olison. Peterman stumbling a bit again. Got belted from behind by Elijah Shoemate, who did not play in the first half for his targeting suspension in the second half last week at Temple. And it is a first down for the Panthers.
Oh, this is what Jim Cheney wants. He talked about it. When Peterman sees green, take it. Moves the chains. And it could force Notre Dame to adjust their coverage a little bit or keep a spy as one of those inside pass rushers to kind of stay at the line of scrimmage and try to mirror Peterman, or linebacker to mirror him so he doesn't get those extra yards running up the middle.
Olison, excellent penetration by Sheldon Day. One of the best defensive linemen in the country, senior from Indianapolis, two-time captain at Notre Dame. There have been only 21 players in the history of that great football program who have been captains on multiple years, and Day is one of them.
At 285, that's on the lighter side for a defensive tackle, but the difference is he plays like he's 305. Great leverage, great hands, disengages, and makes plays in space.
Tyler Boyd is back on the field. They like the tight ends in the red zone. Peterman dumps it short for the tight end. J.P. Holtz got very close to that yellow line and first down marker, where he got belted by Jalen Smith.
You know, that was the same route that Boyd made that catch on the corner where he had to go out because of the shot. That time, Luke took away Boyd, so Peterman reads the corner, throw the corner. Corner back, throw it short. That was a great read by Peterman to hit Holtz in the flat by reading the cornerback in his position.
Brian Van Gorder, you could read his lips, heavy. They expect short yardage offensive formation here, so they put their heavy people on the field. Olison rejected as he got to the line of scrimmage, and the crowd doesn't like the spot from the two officials.
Remember what we talked about, Sean? They like to run left. The strength of their defense or offensive line is the left side in short yardage. They went right. Why? I don't know. Do what you do best, who you are, and run left.
Yeah, Jim Chaney said, we don't care if it's a tendency. That's our strength. We're not going to try to trick them.
They tried to trick them.
The ruling on the field, the runner did not make the line to gain. That play is under review.
Gives Pat Narduzzi a little more time to think about what he wants to do. I think in this situation they have to go for it, Chris.
Oh, absolutely.
A field goal would make it a two-score game, but well, he certainly got well across the 6-yard line before he got knocked back.
Right there. Tough to see from that angle. Nice job of penetration by Notre Dame. Getting inside. That's Sheldon Day. Look at him working, Sean. See, that's beautiful. Number 91. That's what he does best.
Doug Rhodes, longtime on-field official and supervisor of officials in the ACC. who I'm certain was glad he didn't have that job still after last week. Some of the things we saw in the ACC, including the Miami-Duke game. But, Doug, did you see anything there in terms of the spotting of the football?
Well, rarely is the spot ever successfully reviewed to be changed or even on a coach's challenge. You just don't have a reference point. There's a lot of big jumbo bodies in there. The ball gets lost in view. And unless you have a right down the lens view.
After further review, the runner made the line to gain. It's first and goal, the 5.5-yard line.
Well, good. He must have had a reference point.
Well, he certainly got inside the 6, and the ball was marked at the 6-yard line, even a little bit shy of it. They're going to move it very close to the 5-yard line. So it's first and goal. And the clock runs under 3 minutes to go in the third quarter now. Don't think Pat Narduzzi liked that original spot. Quadri Olesen got inside the 4-yard line. And Chris, I know we're still in the third quarter, but the way Notre Dame's scoring, if I was Pittsburgh here, it's not too early to pick up the pace a little bit. You're down 18 points right now, getting closer to the fourth quarter. Pick up the tempo in this operation a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we'll see that next series, because you know from Pittsburgh that you don't have the ability to strike fast on a consistent basis. And play action.
Peterman, the tight end in the flat, dropped. It was the fullback George Aston who was the short receiver. It also looked like the tight end going to the corner was open, and they couldn't get it to either one of them.
Good pressure by Trombetti, who forced the high throw. There's Trombetti, number 98, coming off the line of scrimmage, and
that was the right decision.
Yeah, he was open, and boy, you'd like to see him. I know it is a high catch and almost go up with 2 hands to try to make that, but Trombetti, even though he didn't get the sack, forced a bad throw, lost opportunity.
Wildcat here now. Whitehead using his speed, turns the corner. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
It's a good toss formation right here, and Whitehead just gets it, sets it up inside. But we talk about the lack of explosive players for Pittsburgh. Well, they have one now in Whitehead. They had to find their starting safety, a true freshman from Malaquippa. Say, look, we need you. You're explosive. Can you help us? And he has. Former tailback from Malaquippa.
Very few players on their team who would have been able to turn the corner on that play. He had the speed to do it. Chris blew it to kick the extra point and get them back within 11. So 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns for Pittsburgh in the second half. That drive was 75 yards, 13 plays, and 5:47 to do it. This week on ESPN's Monday Night Football, Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears in San Diego to take on Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. Bears-Chargers Monday Night Football, 8:10 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN, and coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown at 6 Eastern Time. 2 teams desperately in need of a win. I think I heard the other day Phillip Rivers and his wife just welcomed their 8th child.
Onside kick.
Onside kick.
I think they got it. The fight at the bottom of the pile. You expect that from Pat Narduzzi coach team. All the fakes this year.
Notre Dame has it.
I think they had an opportunity for it, Sean. It's a great call by Pat Narduzzi. Well executed. You see it has to get to the 45. It's there.
And give Notre Dame credit, too, because they didn't turn and run anticipating. They stood their ground knowing that this was a possibility.
Tavon Coney, the backup middle linebacker, coming in and making a heads-up play, fighting for this football. Actually, that play is designed for the kicker, blew it to recover it, and it took a funny bounce because he was in position to get it. Now you got to be alert for over the top if you're Pitt because of the field position.
Josh Adams, the running back, behind Deshaun Kaiser. Pitt tried to bring the blitz, didn't get there, but they cover it well. Wide side of the field. Amir Carlisle knocked down for a loss on the play. Here's Cassidy Hubbard.
Thanks, Sean. UNC and Marquise Williams making a loud statement to the playoff committee. Williams, 23 of 35, 494 yards, 5 total TDs, up 59-17 in the third. And coming up at 3:30 Eastern, Dabo Swinney and number 1 ranked Clemson hosting Florida State on ABC. Sean, Chris.
It's the big game, and boy, North Carolina would like to have that opener back against South Carolina. They, to a large extent, gave that game away. They could very easily be undefeated. Adams. Hard-earned 4 yards. Mike Caprera made the tackle. He's from a Notre Dame family. Has a lot of relatives who cheer for Notre Dame. His great-uncle Joe was a kicker for the Irish back in the 1950s.
So here we go, Sean. Third down. Are your athletes going to make a play? Are your edge players going to make a play in man-to-man? Look at the press corners. All day long, they've been working on Maddox.
Brian Kelly involved in the play calling. Mike Sanford, the offensive coordinator, 33-year-old rising star in coaching. Big play call for them. 5-man rush from Pitt. They don't get near Kaiser, and he has his man for a first down. Amir Carlisle to the 34-yard line. Dennis Briggs, a backup freshman cornerback, made the tackle for Pitt.
Well, first of all, it's a zone pressure right there, and you're covering dirt when you need to get a matchup zone. You guys mentioned 5-man rush, 6-man protection.
And they noticed, too, the personnel. Terrace Webb limped off just 2 plays earlier, and they attacked that side.
Final seconds of the third quarter. Pittsburgh has scored twice in 2 possessions in this half. Notre Dame has the ball for the second time, trying to score again, and Kaiser is sacked. Juan Price, the 5th-year senior out of Woodland Hills High School here in the Pittsburgh area, produced a lot of terrific players over the years, and he is one of them. On to the fourth quarter. Notre Dame leading Pittsburgh by 11. Welcome back to ESPN on ABC College Football, presented by Kay Jewelers. This is something Pat Narduzzi has encouraged. He wanted his team to be more energetic, emotional on the sideline, anticipate success in the fourth quarter. Even though they're down by 11 heading to the fourth quarter, it was quite a demonstration during the break between the third and fourth.
It's all the guys that aren't playing. Everybody has a role. Guys that are playing need a rest. Get ready to play. Focus.
2nd and 16, Irish. As we go to the fourth quarter, they're at the Pittsburgh 40-yard line. Their second possession of the half. Their touchdown in the third quarter. Kaiser throws caught by Corey Robinson. Notre Dame's touchdown in the third quarter. The first touchdown given up in the third quarter by Pittsburgh since their opening game against Youngstown State. They had given up only 3 field goals in the third quarter since.
Yeah, they're a good football team. The problem is you just said they can't put 4 quarters together, offensively or defensively. I mean, sluggish first halves. They come out, they play like a Pat Narduzzi coach team the second half. They need to put 4 quarters together to get in these games.
12-yard gain on the completion of Robinson. 3rd down and 4. They are in field goal range for Justin Yoon. Quick toss, caught. Torrey Hunter, first down. The son of the terrific baseball player Torrey Hunter, who just announced his retirement a couple of days ago. 5-time All-Star in Major League Baseball.
It's a perfect pre-snap read right there by Kaiser. Seeing the corner playing soft. He knew he had the flat wide open, and that's the growth of a young quarterback again, understanding the weakness of the defense and trusting his man to be where it's going to be.
Torrey Hunter practiced on defense this week. They thought he might play some defense this week without their starting safety Elijah Shoemate to start the game for the targeting 1 week ago. Josh Adams tackled by Matt Galambos. 5-yard gain.
know, if you're Pitt's defense right now, you have to start incorporating some run blitzes. Well, how do you do that and protect yourself in the back end? You have to have some zone run blitzes and try to attack and get penetration and get either tackles for loss or a jarring hit for a turnover.
Notre Dame has not turned it over in this game. Screen, Amir Carlisle. First down, bouncing off hits. And the little guy powering down inside the 5-yard line. Matt Galambos had a chance to stop that well short of the first down marker. He's their second leading tackler for the year, number 47, and did not make the play. It's a 12-yard pickup.
Well, it's a good read right here in a catchable ball, but this is all effort. Galambos had a chance to make a play. We have missed tackles down in that red zone, and you see when you're fighting for carries and opportunities, you'll make the most of it when you get your opportunity. Exactly what Carlisle did.
He's just 5'10", 195 pounds. First and goal, Notre Dame. They lined Adams up out wide, gave it to him. Touchdown, Fighting Irish. With help from Chris Brown. Brian Kelly said yesterday Chris Brown blocks his rear end off, and he certainly does. The leader of that wide receiver group, number 2.
Here it is. This is a forward pass again. Coming in motion right here. Right here's the thing you're talking about, Sean. This is what I love. This should be an assist because he's the leader by example. The unquestioned leader of that receiver group, and that's why doing the little things to make it necessary for Josh Adams to succeed.
It's evolving into a Big 12 game here now. 4 possessions in the second half, 2 for each team, 4 touchdowns. Justin Yoon out of Milton Academy in Massachusetts adds the extra point. That was ruled a forward pass and a touchdown pass for Kaiser, his 5th of the day. Starting at about 45 minutes over on ESPN, a Big Ten doubleheader, 3:30 Eastern time. 9th ranked undefeated Iowa in Indiana, and then tonight at 7, 7th ranked and unbeaten Michigan State takes on Nebraska. Iowa, Indiana presented by Cars.com at 3:30. Michigan State, Nebraska brought to you by Hilton at 7 o'clock this evening on ESPN. Tyler Newsome kicks off for Notre Dame. It'll be a touchback. They've spread it out on offense for Notre Dame today. Deshaun Kaiser's pass for 247 and 5 touchdown passes, 1 shy of Brady Quinn's single-game Notre Dame record. Josh Adams in for the injured C.J. Prosise. 101 yards rushing. Will Fuller, 6 catches for 140 receiving and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, you see the demeanor right there of Deshaun Kaiser as he's talking on the phone and listen to his coach tell him how well he's playing. He's calm. He seems like he's been here forever. He's a freshman.
Nate Peterman got it off in the flat for Chris James, who's tackled across the boundary by Jalen Smith. Last Notre Dame quarterback to throw 5 touchdowns in a game, Tommy Rees, 2013 against Air Force. Only 2 other quarterbacks have thrown 5 touchdowns in a game. Jimmy Clausen did it twice against Stanford and Hawaii. Brady Quinn twice against Michigan State, 2005 and 2006. Rare accomplishment today for Kaiser. Not a rare drop ball by a tight end today for Pittsburgh. Scott Orndorff couldn't catch it.
We talked about this, Sean, and you know the clock stopped, but there's got to be a little bit of urgency right now with Pittsburgh's offense. If you have a 4-minute drill, run it. If it's a 2-minute drill, run it. But you have to get going a little bit to try to get back into this ball game. 18 down.
Tyler Boyd held the 2 catches today. Peterman under duress, and he will not get away this time. He never did go down, but it's a sack for the Irish. Back at the 25-yard line.
Right here, we're going to have a nice little stunt inside. This is what Notre Dame does well. Again, just see him coming inside, and Rao is no match for Okwara right there, just pushing him back into the quarterback, and is able to finish once he gets there.
Brian Winslow, the Pitt punter. C.J. Sanders, fair catch, 38-yard line. 11:19 to go. Notre Dame 7-1 and comfortably ahead in the fourth quarter.
36 hours ago, you were Jeff and Susan. Now, you're Mom and Dad. But you've got this. You read the baby manuals, you baby-proofed the house, bought yourself a safe SUV. You're totally ready for this. Right?
Being free from the flakes and itch of dandruff feels great. Maximum Strength Selsun Blue targets the source of dandruff, wiping out flakes and itch before they start, leaving hair clean and healthy. Selsun Blue, freedom from dandruff.
I never thought I'd take the green and gold. If you'd have told me years ago that I would ever be a Packer fan, I would have flattened you like a hot cake. But like I always say, you got to keep your eyes on the prize.
McDonald's and the NFL are teaming up like never before. Just peel, win instantly, or text in your code, and you could win tickets to the Super Bowl or $500,000 guaranteed every week.
The chance to win free McDonald's prize for 4 Sundays in a row, I can take the pain.
McDonald's Game Time Gold. Who's your team?
So why the Marines?
Go on there and take it!
Because this is the land that I love, the country I'm honored to serve.
ESPN's College Football on ABC, presented by Kay Jewelers, who would like to remind you that right now it's engagement season. And LG V10, capture the in-between moments.
We're back at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. Jimbo Covert in the crowd, great offensive lineman for Pitt. Honored as the 10th player to have his number retired by the Panthers in a ceremony at halftime. Sean Kaiser out slinging it wide for Chris Brown, who's dumped immediately. Jordan Whitehead had a terrific day on offense. Made some big plays for the defense as well.
And that's the type of player that Coach Narduzzi is going to recruit once he gets his time, it gets established, gets out into the field. He'll bring that type of player in.
9 tackles today for Whitehead. The leading tackler for Pittsburgh for the year. The only freshman in the top 22 in the ACC in tackles, Josh Adams. Yanked down by Matt Galambos.
But Adams, when we talked to Coach Brian Kelly yesterday, couldn't speak high enough about him, just saying all the great qualities he has. He said, wait till you see him. He's tall, he's long, he's physical. He said, we have to get him the ball more and get him more involved. And today, because of the injury to C.J. Prosise, he gets all the carries that he's getting. But you can see the talent there and why Coach Kelly's so excited about his future.
You know, the quality that I like, Todd, is his vision. There was a play where he ran the ball. It was designed to go right, but he cut it back left where the pulling guard vacated. That's something you don't teach.
They're throwing on 3rd and 1, and they're converting. Will Fuller out of bounds in Pitt territory at the 41-yard line. 7th catch of the day for Fuller.
Pitt's playing a little gun shy now because the ball's been going over their head. So when the corners are off, that's just an easy read for Fuller to sit it down in the soft spot. And Kaiser, it's an easy throw when he has time to step into it and throw a dart.
Clock running and the play clock running, and Kaiser could use a lot more time here. Still 13 seconds on the play clock. Adams. Lafayette Pitts made the tackle.
comparisons for the top players. Will Fuller, to me, reminds me a little bit of Devin Smith. Remember Devin Smith, the impact he had last year with Ohio State, especially down the stretch heading to that national championship. He doesn't have to get a lot of touches to make a big impact. You see with Fuller all year long, big plays, the ability to get down the field. That comparison, the touchdown to catch percentage, 21% and then 25% for Devin Smith. It's incredible.
Adams, the ball carrier, great speed for both Fuller and Smith, the ability to get behind the defense.
You know, the one thing in his growth is tracking the deep ball. I know that's a quality that coaches look for. It's very difficult also for wide receivers to track deep balls, and Will Fuller has done an excellent job, and they trust him more downfield than they did last year. Last year they used him a lot of that quick screen game. This year he's grown his game, become a deep threat with speed and the ability to catch the long ball.
Brian Kelly says he wants the ball when the game's on the line. He had game-winning touchdowns very late against Virginia, scored the game-winning touchdown there with 12 seconds to go. And, of course, the catch last week with 2 minutes and change to go with Temple to put them ahead to stay. Amir Carlisle battled at the 21-yard line.
It's like the composure of Kaiser, don't you? We talked to Brian Kelly last week or yesterday, as a matter of fact. The one quality he looks for in a quarterback when he recruits him, can he handle tough coaching? And he does. He has the demeanor to handle a strong personality like Coach Kelly.
And Brian will get after you. And Kaiser said, I played youth basketball. My dad was my coach, and nobody will ever coach me as hard as Derek Kaiser did. His dad was a fine player in basketball at Bowling Green, played professionally in France. Williams trip. It looks like he might have the first down near the 18-yard line.
Well, Kaiser he takes very well to coaching, as you guys were saying, and it really started last year. He's come a long way in the last 2 years. Coach LaFleur, who was here before and now is the quarterback's coach for the Falcons, Matt LaFleur, he did a really good job of working with him, even though he was the third-string quarterback at the time. And obviously you've seen with this past year with Coach Sanford, as we've talked a lot about, and what he's able to do with quarterbacks and offensively. Very intelligent, very technically sound coach. So these two coaches have done a lot of positive things for Kaiser in his development.
Pittsburgh calls a timeout with Notre Dame facing 3rd down and 1 in the red zone. The Irish up 35-17. With 6:53 remaining here in Pittsburgh, here's a Pacific Life game summary. 35-17, the Irish leading. Big day for Deshaun Kaiser, who's completed his last 10 passes. Will Fuller, 3 touchdown catches. And the freshman Josh Adams in for the injured C.J. Procise, his second 100-yard game of the year. He rushed for 133 against the Minutemen of UMass. 3rd down and 1. And now as the Irish line up, they call a timeout. We talked about the poise of Deshaun Kaiser. Looked like Malik Zaire is going to be their quarterback and have a terrific year. He threw for 313 yards in their opening game against Texas, then got hurt at Virginia. Brian Kelly told us yesterday when he put Kaiser into that game, he said, I was scared. We can't use his exact language. He was significantly scared. He said, but Kaiser wasn't. And the young man throws a long touchdown pass with 12 seconds to go to win the game, take them from behind to a win. And it's hard to believe that he was second string to start the year.
Well, you look at Malik Zaire, and this offense was built for Malik, which was a strong runner, and obviously Malik can throw the football. You bring this guy in, and I'm just impressed with his composure and the fact that he wanted to be at Notre Dame, Sean. I mean, he had offers from all over the country, SEC, all over. He actually had to call Notre Dame and have Chuck Martin, the head coach of Miami now, that was the offensive coordinator, come watch and throw as they get the first down with Josh Adams.
He's not done yet. Forward progress never stopped. He battles all the way to the 11-yard line.
I mean, this kid that good, and that just the state of what Notre Dame football is when you get recruits like Kaiser and recruits like this young man, Josh Adams. That's the vision I was talking about. The play was designed to go right. He cuts it back left, north and south, and hits it and runs with power and speed to the edge.
with the 7-yard gain. Now 134 yards rushing. Adams up the middle, powers down inside the 2. Knocked down by Rory Blair, sophomore from Pittsburgh.
A good block right here is Mike Stanley, the fine offensive tackle, maybe a future first rounder, caves that whole right side of that pit line in, leaving room for Adams.
Kaiser keeps it. They all anticipated Adams would get it. Kaiser keeps it and runs for the touchdown. So he's thrown for 5, and now he's rushed for a score. And Notre Dame has scored on every possession of the second half.
This is going to be a part of their offense moving forward, and that's too easy right there. Rory Blair goes in for the dive, the natural read for the quarterback, and that plays pull it out, take the short corner.
Three possessions in the second half, 3 touchdowns. The latest drive, 10 plays, 62 yards. Justin Yoon, the extra point. So Notre Dame number 5 in the college football playoff rankings and looking very much like one of the best teams in the country. After the Arizona-USC game on ESPN tonight, stay tuned for Sports Center at night, a post-game recap of that game, a full breakdown of all of the day's college football action. Sports Center at night, kicking off when the game ends on ESPN and also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Only close friends and loved ones remaining here at Heinz Field with 5:47 to go, and the outcome no longer in doubt. Notre Dame kicks off. Tyler Newsome sent it down to Quadri Henderson, a true freshman. He brought it back to the 24. Here's Cassidy Hubbard with an update.
Thanks, Sean. After trailing 20-7, Penn State has scored 14 unanswered, and this Saquon Barkley TD gives the Nittany Lions a 21-20 lead over Northwestern over on ESPNU. And coming up on ABC, Jimbo Fisher still has a name to start at QB. Find out who will get the nod, Everett Golson or Sean McGuire, against number 1 Clemson, 3:30 Eastern, ABC.
It's got to be Sean McGuire. Gives them the best chance to win.
Nate Peterman on first down for Pittsburgh, fires Dontez Ford. And I think they're going to rule him down before the ball came out. Navari Russell, the tackle, and now Ford is not getting up. Gain of 21.
You're going to see the effort play by Okwara right here, number 45, coming in and jerking that ball out. And that position is a position for Pittsburgh that they can't afford to lose. Hopefully it's just a cramp. But look at the effort, though. That's a defensive lineman, Romeo Okwara, running down and make a play on a receiver 12 yards downfield. That's why Notre Dame's defense has been outstanding this year and only getting better.
We're back in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sellout crowd here. 68,400 the attendance. First home sellout for Pitt in 2 years since the last time Notre Dame was here. Most of them have departed. That's actually the largest crowd ever for a Panther game here in the stadium. They've expanded it since a year ago. Peterman out to the near side of the field, and Quadri Olison down to the 49. Kibari Russell made the tackle. Be a big win for Notre Dame. I think one of the things that we have seen based on what the committee did the other night in ranking Notre Dame number 5 is that they've shown a lot of respect for this schedule that Notre Dame's played already. There's an open receiver, Tyler Boyd, touchdown. He got behind Kibari Russell, who's looking around to some of his mates as if to say, I was supposed to have some help from somebody.
Let's take a look at the route right here. The safety sits down inside, and he's looking and pointing. Instead of looking and pointing, you got to put your head down and start chasing. You can blame later. While the play's going on, start chasing. But Kibari Russell's been a little suspect at times. Likes to guess a little bit out at that corner position, although he's made 2 big plays the previous 2 games. Fourth quarter interceptions.
At the very least, Pitt's offense has found something here in the second half as they look toward the rest of their season. Chris Blewett, the extra point.
See, right here, when you get beat, Sean, and you're expecting help, get running. Don't start asking for help then. You can't do anything about that. Don't point, and he's not even running. That's the thing. You got to get in panic mode in that situation and turn the jets on to sprint. Regardless of whose fault it is, you don't worry about it while the play's going on.
It very well might have been Redfield's fault the way Brian Van Gorder's coaching him up. But that 51-yard catch now, 3,097 career receiving yards for Boyd. He sets the Pittsburgh all-time record in receiving yardage, passing Antonio Bryant with 3,061. 1999 to 2001. Boyd is already their all-time leader in reception with 229. And he's doing things that even the great Larry Fitzgerald didn't do.
You know,
when he was at Pittsburgh, one of the great receivers of all time.
And a smaller version of Larry Fitzgerald, because same type of player though with the strong hands. And we already did a comparison with Devin Smith, which is accurate. Also, Keenan Allen of the Chargers. That's a guy that he reminds us of because of his excellent possession of hands and good route runner, a feel for running routes, changes speeds, really a natural receiver.
And they were anticipating an onside kick. Well, Blewett just bombed it over the head of Amir Carlisle, and it's a touchback. Here's a look at this week's college football playoff rankings, the first of this college football season. They'll be revealed every Tuesday night on ESPN. They're brought to you by Allstate. And I don't think either one of us was surprised, Chris, that Clemson was number 1, 8-0, including the win over Notre Dame, the only loss of the season for the Irish.
Yeah, and I think that the beautiful thing about this is it's a week-in, week-out basis. And basically, and I think David Pollock said this today on game day, that the Big 12 season has started today. I mean, there's a round-robin tournament going on with those outstanding teams at the top of that conference. And so that will certainly help those guys. As if they win, I'm sure they'll advance.
Brandon Wimbush is in at quarterback, a true freshman, highly recruited. Like Park Narduzzi told us, he tried to recruit him to Michigan State when he was on the staff there. 6'1", 216-pounder out of St. Peter's Prep from Hackensack, New Jersey. And the coaches tell us he has a big arm.
Just a talent. I love the fact that he goes to Notre Dame. You have Malik Zaire, you have Kaiser. You go in and you want to compete, show those guys. It's because how good somebody else is doesn't make you any better or any worse. Let me go at it.
Dexter Williams, the motion man. Wimbush is also an accomplished runner. Well, he's not going to go out of bounds. Getting a chance to play. He's going to play. Finally out of bounds with a first down. Here's Cassidy.
All right, Sean, Florida can clinch the SEC East with a win, but trailing Vandy until Austin Hardin hits this 43-yarder to give the Gators a 9-7 lead. About 1:30 to play in the fourth over on ESPN. And on the way on ABC, Dalvin Cook, battling his hamstring injury, is set to play today against number 1 Clemson. Coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC.
Dalvin Cook missed last week because of an ankle injury, so he had a chance to rest, so he should be full go 100%. Dangerous in open field.
I think if they were playing Clemson last week, he very well might have played in the game. Dexter Williams, the ball carrier. Well, Notre Dame trying to get into the top 4. This is what the semifinal matchups would have been based on the first rankings that came out Tuesday night. But Notre Dame, they're at number 5. The next few games they're going to be favored to win pretty easily. They have Wake Forest and Boston College in the next 2, and then it'll probably for them come down to that game at the end of the year against Stanford, because if they win out and add a win against Stanford, they're certainly not going to go down from number 5. They can only get better.
Yeah, I look at it. I think that's probably a playing game for Notre Dame, because the committee has clearly stated that they will reward strength of schedule.
And I think they value the wins over Navy. They're 6-1. Temple, still a 1-loss team. The narrow loss in the monsoon, the hurricane at Clemson. There's the remaining schedule. That Boston College game will be at Fenway Park, a homecoming for Brian Kelly, who grew up just outside Boston. It is a Notre Dame home game. They have the majority of the tickets, so it'll be a pro-Irish crowd, even though it's in the hub of the universe, Boston, Massachusetts.
Self-proclaimed, yes.
Yeah, self-proclaimed is right.
Where are you from, McShay? You're supposed to support that notion.
That's why I'm jumping in right now, McDonough. I tell you what, Notre Dame's in great position when you look at it. I think you guys are right. Stanford, that one game, if they can win out, they're sitting at number 5 right now. You know, either LSU or Alabama's going to be out of it because one of those teams is going to lose in the game that they play later on today. So they very easily could be in that top 4 come Tuesday night.
Well, we talked about that, so maybe a Notre Dame playing game. You know, the team that I like, and I know, Sean, you were impressed with them when we saw them handle USC, is Notre Dame's opponent in Stanford. I think Stanford can make some noise, and they play a tough schedule, and if they beat Notre Dame, then go ahead and win that Pac-12 championship. That's a team, to me, that I think would have a strong argument for a playoff.
Well, I think since they play each other, it's not going to be Notre Dame and Stanford. It'll be one or the other.
Right.
And you have to think, if Notre Dame wins out, based on where they are right now, the committee clearly respects what they've already done. One-loss Notre Dame team is going to be in the 4-team college football playoff. Who do you think is the best team in the country?
Right now, I think Clemson's the best team in the country, and I think they're playing the best. And it's going to be interesting to see how Ohio State's going to respond, because it seems like they just found their quarterback in J.T. Barrett. He made a poor choice. Now they're going back to Cardale Jones. How are they going to be able to adjust? But what we've watched so far, I would say,
Wimbush sacked by the blitzing Matt Galambos. Here's Juan Price picking the loose ball up for a Pittsburgh touchdown.
well, this is a young quarterback. When you know you're going to get hit, you have to secure the football. Number one priority in this situation was a quarterback draw, and anytime you feel contact coming, put 2 hands on the ball. And I love the fact that Price didn't fall on it, trusted his athletic ability, picked it up, and scored.
And it isn't going to change the outcome of the game, Chris, you would think. Price runs 32 yards with the fumble recovery for the score.
On the field was a fumble. The play is under further review.
They're reviewing it to make sure it was a fumble. But if you didn't watch this game, Chris, and you see the score now, it's not going to look like quite as impressive. The knee might be down. The ball's on the way out, though.
I think the ball's. Yeah, well, you're right. But I think if the committee, they have to look at this film, and if one of your teams is going to go into the playoffs, then you have to evaluate, I think, all 12 games.
Right.
And that
a lot of backups out there for Notre Dame, just trying to get experience, and that's the right thing for the Irish to do.
You know, on the other hand, too, this is a good sign for Pat Narduzzi, because one thing you know about his teams, if history tells us anything about his Michigan State defenses, they don't quit.
The ruling on the field stands.
Ralph Pickett upholding the call on the field from the replay booth. Big day for Juan Price. 8 tackles, 2 sacks, and now a fumble return for a touchdown. Looks like Pittsburgh is lining up to go for 2.
Makes sense. Try to get it down to a field goal touchdown game. Cut the lead to 10. Onside kick it.
But a single point would still be a field goal and an 8-point play on the touchdown and 2-point conversion. Now, if you don't get this, you definitely need 2 touchdowns. And I don't think that's the right play. Peterman threw for Boyd, incomplete, broken up by Cole Luke. So 42-30 Notre Dame with 1:44 to go. Let's take a look at today's good hands play. Brought to you by Allstate.
Now this is throwing a guy open. This is the growth. And Torrey Hunter, with Webb all over him, extends his hands. Beautiful throw by Kaiser. Standing in the face of pressure and delivering a strike to the open space, allowing his receiver to go make a play.
We were talking to Brian Kelly last night about Hunter, the fact that he practiced on defense the last couple of weeks with injuries and the disciplinary issue to Shoemate for the targeting. They were a little thin in the secondary, and he took to it immediately. He said he was very good at jamming at the line of scrimmage. He's the jammer on their punt team, so he has a lot of experience doing that. And after a while, Brian Kelly said, you know, let's not overthink this. He can do it. He's fine. He's going to play very well if we put him out there. We don't need to overcoach this.
Where you watch him, he's a physical kid. He's obviously a great athlete. In playing a nickelback, you know, you're asking guys like playing basketball. They're not going to do a lot of zone concepts with them. Line up and play man. You got him. Take him all over the field and play.
Trying an onside kick. Very little wind in the stadium, but enough to knock it off the tee. So Blewett will try it again. Chance to make it a little bit of a seat squirmer here for the Irish if Pittsburgh can execute the onside kick. Boy, the flags aren't doing very much. That ball doesn't want to stay on the tee.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want to hold or holding it on an onside kick also. That finger
top of the stadium. Sorry, Chris. As you can see, the wind has picked up. The little strips on the top of the goalposts aren't doing much.
Yeah, no, it's probably not that windy up there in the booth. I know you guys feel a little different climate in there, huh?
What's wrong with the elements today?
No, I love when you comment on the elements in certain games when it's 72. There's no problem at all. I just find it funny when you comment on the climate when it's 72 and sunny in your world, McDonough.
It's a perfect world. Sean's world is a great world to live in.
He is a dome player, baby.
Working with you two, how could it get any more perfect? Andre Powell, the special teams coach, they use the timeout now to figure out what they want to do. Job one will be getting the ball to stay on the tee.
Now I watched this in practice. He does a pretty good job of executing it. Sometimes on a natural grass surface you don't get the bounce that you would like. But on practice on Thursday, he got that high hopper that he wanted toward the end line or the sideline over there.
He tried a surprise onside kick in the third quarter, did not recover it. Ooh. It's still free. Tyus Farley at the bottom of the pile for Notre Dame. Looked like he had the best shot at it.
Waiting for it. That's two onside kicks that Pitt had opportunities to recover.
Off Farley's hands.
Missed it first and stays with it right here, and he's going to come back in, Sean, and fight to get it.
Whoa. If he wound up with it, he won a strength battle at the bottom of the pile. That was a 50-50 ball right about there. If anything, it looked like Pitt had the better chance. Then Jamar Parrish, the bottom of the pile for them.
Kaiser back in the ball game.
You think they just run out the clock now. Josh Adams, Pittsburgh, used the timeout to set up the onside kick, so they have just one timeout left, and they are going to use it. Deshaun Kaiser.
He's had an unbelievable day. 5 touchdown passes, 1 rushing touchdown. You see the poise there in the pocket, working with pressure coming, stepping up, making accurate throws down the field, working on the slant there, putting the ball perfectly in terms of placement, and then allowing your playmakers to go up and make plays. He's done a nice job all season long of that with Will Fuller, who's one of the premier vertical threats.
I think you look at him and he's only going to get better. And the one thing he does not lack is confidence. And I know that I want my starting quarterback, I want him to have that genuine confidence. And when he walks into a room, you know, he believes he's the best player in the room. And I want that from my starting quarterback. And I think Deshaun certainly possesses that and takes it out onto the field. And the one thing he does not lack is confidence. And I know that I want my starting quarterback, I want him to have that genuine confidence. And when he walks into a room, you know, he believes he's the best player in the room. And I want that from my starting quarterback. And I think Deshaun certainly possesses that and takes it out onto the field. It's not cocky at all. It's just a genuine confidence.
Good student, graduated from Central Catholic in Toledo with a 3.6 GPA, studying accounting at Notre Dame. Said when he first got thrust in after the injury to Malik Zaire, he just wanted to manage the game, not hurt the team. But he said, now, as I've settled in, the team believes I'm a leader. It's time for me to really impact the game with my own play. And boy, has he done that the last few weeks.
Now, I'm impressed with his deep ball accuracy and the touch. He has great touch on the intermediate routes, short routes, but his accuracy on the deep ball has been most impressive.
Adams, the ball carrier. Pitt cannot stop it again. Matt Galambos made the tackle. Kaiser told us he was just about to decide among Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, and North Carolina, but in the back of his mind, he always wanted to go to Notre Dame. He finally called their coaches, said, I'm about to make a decision. Can I throw for you one more time? Chuck Martin, who was the offensive coordinator at the time, now the head coach at Miami of Ohio, came to visit him. Kaiser said, I really didn't even throw the ball very well that day, but he went back and looked at more of my tape. Kaiser went on a visit, and 2 days later, he canceled his visits to those other schools. Just trying to run some clock. We'll see what Brian Kelly does on 4th down now.
That's amazing, though, and it goes to, again, the depth at Notre Dame when you have a talent like Deshaun having to call them, hey, please come look at me. And that man right there recruits all the quarterbacks. I mean, he's the one that makes the final decision. He does a great job of developing those quarterbacks, and has done it for years.
He said, I don't look at just the combine numbers. He said, I look for the intangibles. He said he wants to judge, can the young man handle the scrutiny of being the quarterback at Notre Dame? A very high profile position. And he said he was convinced that Kaiser was one of those guys. They call a timeout with 6 seconds to go. Last week in a similar situation, 7 seconds to go, they had Kaiser run around a little bit. He was supposed to throw the ball high in the air. Ball actually got knocked out of his hands by Temple for a moment, and he got it back. They worked on that play again during the week.
It might not be a bad time to practice it here under game time situations. And you see, I think Brian's pointing up high in the air. But the number one thing is obviously protect the football. Get down if you have to.
Just moments away from the showdown in the ACC. Clemson can secure a trip to the ACC championship game with a win over Florida State. That's coming up next. Of course, tonight on ABC, Minnesota and Ohio State. Notre Dame with the win will go to 8-1. And Pittsburgh will go to 6-3. He does roll out, throw it high in the air. The clock doesn't stop until it lands, and it lands with no time left. Notre Dame wins 42-30. Wake Forest, Boston College, and Stanford. The 3 remaining games for the Irish. Brian Kelly's had some good moments in this stadium. 2009 when he was at Cincinnati, they won a tremendous game against Pitt to win the Big East championship. 262 yards passing, 5 touchdowns for Deshaun Kaiser. He rushed for 1 as well. Here's Todd with Brian Kelly.
Coach, quarterback Deshaun Kaiser, 5 touchdown passes, 1 touchdown run. What did you see from him today?
Well, he's got playmakers, and he got the ball to the playmakers today, and I thought Josh Adams stepped in big for us, 147 yards on the ground. So, you know, we had our offense running today effectively, and got a little sloppy at the end, but I'm proud of the guys getting a good win on the road.
You mentioned Adams. He comes in with C.J. Procise going out with the injury. What did you see from him? You had told us that he has a lot of talent, but what did you see from him in a real game condition?
Well, he's a big physical back. He's long, athletic, just a freshman, and, you know, we had to call on our depth again today. And he stepped up for us. You know, if you can run the football effectively, you're going to get some shots down the field against an aggressive Pitt defense. And we got our shots. And Will Fuller, we know, is an electric player.
I'm forced to ask you every time. Any update on Procise?
Yeah, he got hit when he went down on his shoulder, hit the field. It wasn't necessarily a contact hit. So he's day-to-day. It didn't look like a serious injury, so we think we'll get him back next week.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
And that's good news for the Irish going forward, although, as the gentleman discussed, Adams a more than capable replacement. Final score is Notre Dame 42 and Pittsburgh 30. Stay tuned. More great college football action on ABC. One of the games of the year, the showdown in the ACC. #1 Clemson hosting Florida State. That's coming up next. Now for Todd McShay, Chris Spielman, our terrific crew led by our producer Bo Garrett, our director Mike Schwab. Sean McDonough saying so long from Pittsburgh. Let's head back to the studio.